Well, hello and welcome to the behind the scenes of the live recording of the brand new course, Niche Finder. My name is Heather Torres, and I'm going to be your behind the scenes host today as we go on this adventure throughout today. Now, here are a couple notes for you to have as we get started. First off, we want to welcome you to this live recording. Again, this is a special opportunity just for you that we wanted to invite you to so that you had first access to the release of this brand new content from Sean Cannell. Second, you will have access to all of these recordings once edited inside of your membership area. So if you have to take a break, if you need to take the kids to soccer, if you need to answer a work call, don't worry, you're going to have access to this after this recording, after our editors get that uploaded into the course content for you. And then third, if you would like to chat, right now we can see people that are watching the live stream and are chatting. You would just need to click through on this page. If you see the video, you would actually click the YouTube button on the video, and that takes you over to the unlisted YouTube link where you could be chatting with us during the live. Now, I need to set a couple things for you as we get started. Number one, our team is here, but we are actually completely involved in the live stream, making sure that we are recording this course correctly. So you might see Daisy or myself or Melissa inside of the comments there, but we are definitely dedicated to making sure you get the best experience after this recording. So we are all hands on deck for that. So your job is to be a fly on the wall during this presentation, and then we will have Q&A times throughout the recording as we start and stop. So if you do have a question, number one, it's probably going to be answered inside of this class or inside of this course. But number two, if you have a question, write it down so that during the Q&A time, you and I can have a chat before we get into the next recording. We're going to be doing this in two different sections today. So we're going to start with the morning section. We'll get through as much content as we can. Then we're going to give our team a break, and then we'll come back for the afternoon session. But if you're watching live right now, thank you for being here. And this is a special experience for you. And I'm excited because I'm going to bring Sean Cannell up, who's going to get started with today's training. Sean, you fired up?
I'm fired up, Heather. Thank you so much. And let's jump into it, friends. Before we kick off the first session here, you should have some downloads in your email. This is a beta Those downloads will actually be different in the future, but we wanted to get them in your hands. So as I'm referencing them throughout this course, you will know what I'm talking about. And there's two different downloads. One is a list of channel ideas and niches, as well as one is kind of just an outline of my notes that'll eventually become the workbook. And so here we go, friends. We're going to dive into the first session. I'm going to delete my glitchy slide and then re-add it. That's why we're here for the live recording. Clean. There it is. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to YouTube Niche Finder. Sean Cannell here, and I'm so fired up for this course because we're going to be learning some very powerful things, and it's really a step-by-step online course for narrowing down your niche on YouTube, connecting with the right audience, discovering your unfair advantage so that you can stand out from the competition. And what you're going to be learning is you're going to be learning how to find the perfect channel idea for you with the 3P framework, how to start from scratch and go from newbie to expert in your niche, the 5 profit tests for earning the most money from your channel, and how to stand out in a crowded niche and discover your unique difference. This course is for you if you're not really sure what's the best and most profitable niche right now for you. Maybe you haven't selected or started your channel yet. Maybe you can relate to me and you're multi-passionate and you hate the idea of having a niche, the constriction, the limitation. I've got so many passions. That's my journey, friend. It's still my journey. And so you're going to love this course because it's going to bring a lot of clarity to you. Maybe you're trying to decide between 2 or more topics right now and even asking yourself, should I start multiple channels? Maybe you're thinking about pivoting your brand or changing your niche. Maybe you're thinking about starting a new channel. Or if you're wanting to learn powerful YouTube marketing strategies that will give you an unfair advantage in your marketplace, then you're going to love this training. You know, even if you would say, I think my niche is pretty clear, my channel's already got some momentum, I really am confident you're going to learn some powerful business and marketing strategies you've never heard before that'll really give you an edge and help take your online business, your YouTube channel, and your influence to another level. And, you know, experts and influencers right now are a dime a dozen, right? Like it kind of actually feels like everything's already been done. Maybe you feel overwhelmed and you're worrying like, man, every niche, every topic is already taken. And maybe you also feel like, well, the competition already has a head start. Like, how do I catch up? Here's the good news. In this course, we're going to show you step by step how to define your difference, create an unfair advantage, reveal how you can position yourself as the right choice for the right people. And so there's going to be a lot of cool stuff. And heads up, this course is designed for business-minded content creators. So the angle I'm coming from with this is understanding, yes, YouTube is an incredible place to share our passions and to have a hobby. Yes, YouTube is an incredible place to build community. This is for all of that. However, this course is specifically designed for people that want to go full-time on YouTube and beyond, that want to build a real sustainable business. So understand it's coming from a business-minded perspective. So if your goal is to build a real business that is high profit and high impact, then this course is for you. And warning, this course is going to challenge you to think different and think bigger. And so maybe you want to get a journal devoted to this. Maybe you want to get, you know, where you're going to take notes, whether that's on your Google Docs or Evernote. You're going to have a lot of ideas flowing, maybe a little bit of chaos before clarity, because this will disrupt your thinking a little bit. But the end result is that you're going to make a greater impact on YouTube. You're going to grow faster, and you're ultimately going to make more money by applying what you're going to learn in this program. If we are just meeting, my name is Sean, and I live in Las Vegas with my wife of 16 years, Sonia Cannell, and our son, Sean Bradley, as well as our Chihuahua, Sophie. And I'm on a mission to help people build their influence with YouTube. I've started multiple YouTube channels. I've helped thousands of people succeed on YouTube. I've started YouTube channels and niches and faceless channels, and I've done a lot of different things where I've learned this information. I've made a ton of mistakes. So this course is going to help you go further faster. I'm also the co-author of the #1 best-selling YouTube strategy book in the world called YouTube Secrets. That's now over 80,000 copies sold. I've had the opportunity to work with a lot of different brands, whether that's an Amazon or a vidIQ or a Canon or a DJI or a Skillshare. Over the years now, I've been featured in the media with CNBC, even doing a 10-minute mini documentary about this small town kid, college dropout that started making videos in his bedroom and built a $1 million business. And right now, I started shooting videos by myself, but Think Media Team has grown to a team of about 20 people and growing. And so it's been crazy. It went from starting small, eventually finding my niche, and then expanding up to really building kind of a media empire, which is what's possible on YouTube. And I'm most proud of our students because we've helped so many individuals from different channel topics, different backgrounds, different ages, different ethnicities, really succeed on YouTube, even getting that silver play button and even gold play button that you get when you get 1 million subscribers. And I say all this and share all this because ultimately today it's like we're based in Vegas. We have an office in Seattle, an office in Vegas, a team of 20. But when you think about my journey, I'm just a small town kid. I grew up in Arlington, Washington, climbing trees. I'm a elder millennial that grew up at a time when there wasn't the internet, right? Grew up at a time when AOL started to mail me discs in my mail and I had a 56K modem. So I've been before the internet, during the internet. And as a small town kid with no media connections, no formal training in business, marketing, in online video, being self-taught and being voraciously passionate about wisdom, just like you, and understanding that education has changed. And while I do not have a formal education, I have an education that they say in the school of the hard knocks, having built an 8-figure media business, thinking about, okay, we've learned business and marketing from reading books, taking online courses, from learning from real people in the trenches, less of that traditional route from theory in a classroom, but actual practice in the streets, and committing to this thing for the last couple decades has been so transformational. And I'm going to be sharing the lessons I've learned. Really, I'm compacting 20 years of lessons into this small course. And so I'm excited for it. But we need to clarify something, right? Throughout this course, here's the question. How do you say niche? Is it niche, niche, niche? Now, I am going to probably say it wrong, and I'm going to interchange it because I'm here in America. We say niche. You may have heard the phrase, the riches are in the niches. Now, it's actually pronounced, I do believe, niche. The global audience understands that, but you can't say the riches are in the niches, can you? You know? So if I say niche, if I say niche, if I'm not even saying it right, forgive me. Welcome to this course. Let's get past that. And then we'll be able to just continue to build forward. And we will be clarifying what that even is, right? But here's why this is important. Here's why having the right niche is so important, because it's really a vehicle for helping you get to your destination. And actually choosing the right niche versus the wrong niche or anywhere in between is kind of like taking a long distance trip. Okay. And so if we were going to go from Seattle to Florida here in the US, there's different vehicles we could take. One, we could walk. It's only a 3,136 mile journey, and it would only take 1,027 hours. And if you just don't sleep, you could probably do that in that time. Now, the problem is, depending on what time of year it is, you might walk through a snowstorm and freeze to death or be very cold. You could get hit by a car. You could get mugged on the way. Like that's walking might not be the safest. It's certainly not the fastest way, but it's one way you could get to your destination. You also could ride a bike. Notice how this cuts it down. Now we can do it in 269 hours. Amazing. Okay. You could drive Now we're down to 46 hours, safer too, safer from the elements. And it's going to be a bumpy ride for sure, but less bumpy, less taxing on your physical body, right? Whatever. And ultimately, you could also fly. From Seattle to Florida is a 5 hour and 16-minute flight. Here's what I need you to know. Some niches are like walking. Some niches are like taking an airplane. So choosing the best niche based on your passion, skills, and market demand is actually the key to experiencing real and sustained success on YouTube. So for some, that if you feel stuck on YouTube, or if you see someone else who's like, man, the money's not really happening, the business is not really coming together, what could be happening is it's not that you're not working hard. It's not that you're not even using the wrong YouTube strategies. It's that you're in the wrong vehicle. So the selection, especially when you might say, I've narrowed it down to 4 possible niches, is such a big deal in terms of whether or not you will get to your destination, and also how quickly you'll get there. Because if you fly, you're probably going to make it. If you walk, again, you might get mugged. You may make it, you may not. It's going to take a long time. So it's a big deal to pick a strong niche. And let me give you 5 quick reasons why you should niche down. Number 1, YouTube and the internet are noisy. Right now, experts estimate that we see 6,000 to 10,000 ads, just ads, every single day. Every day is how 10,000 ads a day. So if you're trying to get noticed, if you want your content to stand out in a noisy, crowded marketplace, if it's not clear, if it's not focused, there's too much noise happening for you to ever really cut through the noise, right? Options overwhelm us, and they lead us to indecision. If you confuse, you lose online. And the brain is looking for clear answers to problems that it's trying to solve. So having a clear focus and a brand for your channel will help you get noticed in a noisy world. Secondly, the YouTube algorithm will reward you for having a niche. We say you should never upload a video your subscribers didn't subscribe for. Now, is there something to experimenting with content when you're first starting before the algorithm even understands where you're at? Sure. But eventually what happens is you'll get a video in your library that's getting you subscribers. It's getting you views, and hopefully it's being suggested and being found in search. Let's say that video is about barbecuing. So now people are clicking subscribe on your channel because you did one barbecue video when you were just experimenting. The problem is now you've finally decided that actually you want to go all in on accounting and share tax tips. So actually your content is attracting the wrong audience that does not want to watch your future videos. Therefore, when you upload a new video, people that subscribe for the barbecue video are not clicking on it. Thus, the YouTube algorithm is confused and is oftentimes suppressing new uploads that you're uploading. So while there's certainly times to break the rule or to drift slightly, like if you think of your niche like a target, you just want to stay on target. Not everything might be a bullseye, but you don't want to fall off the map completely and go, yeah, my channel is, mostly about health and beauty, but I'm going to be talking about, I'm going to do a Minecraft playthrough this weekend just because I feel like it. It's like, that's too far off and it will hurt the YouTube algorithm. Ultimately, it's possible that one breakout video or viral video can actually hurt you if it's not what you want to be known for. Number 3, a clear channel idea focuses your energy, resources, and time. Now, choosing a niche does require discipline, but it ultimately leads to freedom. You'll experience more peace. You'll experience more financial success. In a way, niching down is like a small key that opens a large door that leads to your ideal future. So ultimately, once the process of nailing your niche is hard, but once you dial it in, you'll actually find that your energy is more focused, your resources are more focused, and your time is more focused. And we need that, because if we're going to break through, beat the competition, find our place on YouTube, then we need all the focus, energy, resources, and time we can get going in one direction and building a big impact. And it reminds me of this quote from James Clear, who wrote Atomic Habits. And he calls it the paradox of freedom. And he says the way to expand your freedom is to narrow your focus. Stay focused on saving to achieve financial freedom. Stay focused on training to achieve physical freedom. Stay focused on learning to achieve intellectual freedom. The disciplined become the free. So ultimately, while a niche can feel constricting and limiting, the paradox is, as you are disciplined with it, it leads to a big door of freedom. And we're going to be unpacking that idea as we continue on throughout this course. Number 4, you only need 1,000 true fans. So one of the objections we have to niching down is, if I niche down, like, it's going to be too limited. There's not going to be an audience for me. There's not going to be enough people. How do I get my 1 million subscribers? How do I get my 10 million subscribers? For business-minded content creators, that is not the best way of thinking. Because if you think about building a profitable at-home business that makes a difference in people's lives, gives you time freedom, location freedom, allows you to create content you are passionate about, but it's also strategic, you really only need 1,000 true fans. So what that could mean is that your YouTube channel might have 5,000 subscribers, 10,000 subscribers. As you follow these principles, build up your channel. And out of that group of people, there's a diehard core though, right? It's the 5 to 10%, maybe 20% of your audience that actually really loves everything that you do. And so the principle of the 1,000 true fans was popularized by Kevin Kelly, who wrote an article that said this: to be a successful creator, you don't need millions. You don't need millions of dollars or millions of customers or millions of clients or millions of fans. To make a living as a craftsperson, photographer, musician, designer, author, animator, app maker, entrepreneur, or inventor, you only need 1,000 true fans. And here's how it works. Imagine that you eventually create a $37 product. Now, of course, you can make a full-time living with YouTube ad revenue if that's your strategy. We can do things like affiliate marketing, but we can also do things like creating our own merch or creating our own digital products. So your physical product or digital product could be anything, but let's say it was $37. If over 1 year's time, you sold 83 units per month, that's only 2.7 per day, you would make $37,000 in 12 months. Now, $37,000 is actually very similar to a lot of salaries here in the United States. And of course, you can extrapolate this to wherever you are in the world. And so if you can imagine creating something of value that people were willing to pay $37 for, creating enough content and enough goodwill and enough value that you sell around 2.7 per day, and especially once you tap into the exponential power of YouTube, so people are watching your videos even when you're asleep and they're learning about whatever it is you're selling, 1,000 true fans is an incredibly practical formula for a pathway to going full time. Let's say it was a $97 product. Same math in terms of 2.7 sold per day. That's a 6-figure a year income. Because especially if you're having this kind of influence, this is just through the product itself, whether that's a hoodie or a physical product or something you do even through network marketing or direct selling, like however you do the math, but you're also going to probably get ad revenue, and you're also going to probably have a brand or two want to work with you. So this will push you into 6 figures in a very significant way. But what this reveals is that truly the riches are in the niches. That if you can find a strong niche, and we're going to learn how, that is at the intersection of not only your passions, but your strengths, and also what has a proper, that could actually have a business built around it, then if you really do build 1,000 true fans, you are set as a creator. It reminds me of McCain Dogs. And, you know, they have a physical dog training location in Canada with, I think, as many as 70 employees. But when the pandemic started, they were so grateful that they also had been pivoting their business online. So not only do they have a great YouTube channel, but one of the things that they did was they created a online course called Dog Training Courses from Canada's Leading Dog Trainers. And they started to sell a product online. So now imagine if they just sell it for $100, and it's more than that, but if they sold $100 to 1,000 customers, that's $100,000 in 1 year's time. This is Christina from Beloved Women, and she is passionate about doing intentional Bible studies for busy women. When we think about this power of niche finder, it's very clear what her channel is all about. And she's actually created multiple income streams, but for this illustration, one of the things she's designed was the Life Bible Journal. Happens to be $35. So now think about it. If you sell 1,000 of those in a year, that's $35,000. She's also sold scripture cards. She has scripture cards. She has events that she does, plus the YouTube ad revenue, anybody that wants to bring her in to speak. And so she is tapping into the power of 1,000 true fans. This is Chris from Flyride, who does custom headlights for import cars. And he's an expert himself at doing that. He's passionate about doing that. His channel is going great in terms of views. YouTube shorts are going great for him. But additionally, he has created an online course for people that want to learn this specific skill that he has developed of creating these custom headlamps for cars, whether they want to do that for their own car. But I asked him once, I said, how much would this couple of lights from you cost to put these on my Golf GTI 2016? And he said about $5,000 to $7,000 is how much that would cost. I was like, it's 1/3 of the price of the car. I was like, my gosh, what a great skill to learn. So not only does he have multiple income streams, but tapping into the power of 1,000 true fans that want to learn something specific from you, you can see that having a niche is incredibly powerful. So you really only need 1,000 true fans. And the goal then is to actually become a big fish in a smaller pond. See, too many people get stuck when it comes to building their influence on YouTube, I think, with the allure of I want to be known and I want to be famous. The interesting thing is YouTube is a place where regular everyday people are super celebrities to small groups. They're completely unknown by everybody in the world, and even everybody, they are unrecognizable, but incredibly known by a very small group of people. And we're going to find your place of genius, and we're going to find your people in this course. And so I'm excited. Number 5, niching down is the secret to scaling up. We're going to learn that actually just because you start specific actually doesn't mean you have to stay specific. When you start small, it actually opens a doorway for you to expand as you go. So you can scale up. And so even though it feels limiting at the start, here's the powerful opportunity, friend. Most won't do it. Most are unwilling to trust someone like me with proven experience to just say, and not only me, years of business, marketing, the greatest minds and experts in what it really takes to break out in a crowded marketplace. By just following with faith a real formula, you realize that what it leads to, what you realize is that you take something like Amazon.com, when they started, only sold books. And there's a book now about Amazon.com that is called The Everything Store. Well, how can they be an e-commerce store for everything? I want my channel to be about everything. Hey, if you start small and you stay focused, it actually becomes the pathway to scaling up and getting big. And we're going to learn exactly how in this course. So as we get ready for the next session, make sure you've downloaded your Niche Finder workbook, and also make sure you've downloaded your Niche Finder Channel Ideas tool. On that tool, you're going to find a list of the niches with the highest CPM. That's how much they earn from ad revenue. You're going to find 101 plus ideas of just profitable YouTube niches. You're even going to find 10 areas with very specific ideas of areas you could create an online course, which may not be what you're thinking about doing. But the reason that's in there is because the more clear you are with starting with the end in mind, influences more the YouTube channel you start or the niche you position in at the beginning. So if you know eventually that, oh, I actually really think I could be a math teacher, and there could be a real market for selling an online course on being a math teacher, then everything can shift. Now, disclaimer, if you don't see the current niche you're in, or it's not in the Niche Finder Channel Ideas tool, it doesn't mean that it's not a good niche. However, you'll see a lot of great ideas that are on there. And if you can find a way to align with them and maybe pivot your positioning, or maybe after this training, I'm certain for some that watch it will actually discover, man, I need to actually change my whole strategy and my whole topic. And so we will work through that together. So here's our next step. The commitment is the foundation of all great accomplishments. I need you to commit to finishing this course. I need you to commit to doing the workbook, and I need you to commit to doing the hard work. There's going to be mentally taxing. It's going to be emotional. You're going to feel like, multi-passionate. I don't want to do this. Yeah, but what about this? What about that? Well, we're going to work through that together. But we got to commit to the whole process. Stick with this and really block time to complete this entire course. And remember, clarity takes time and patience. So if you don't get struck by lightning in terms of clarity immediately during or after taking this course, know that we're really planting seeds that might sprout through the soil 2 days from now, a week from now. You're on a jog, you're in the shower, and all of a sudden you go, that's it. That makes sense. You might need to work through these things. But clarity takes time. Clarity takes patience. So embrace the process and stick with this course. And coming up is the 3P framework for finding your perfect channel idea. And so let's dive into the next session. All right. We'll keep it going real fast. Heather, how we doing?
Doing great. I was reading through, and first off, Sean, people are just impressed actually that you're doing this live and you sound so great and you're not missing up any of your words. And so really awesome. I love this. The statement is so true, Sean. That was about just getting started. Big fish in a small pond is what Joy is saying. So yeah, no questions have come in yet. Just really looking forward to this next session that you have planned. And look at Sean.
I'm going to start my clock. And hey, that was the introduction. So if you're already getting clarity,
we're in session 1 complete. All right. And I was going to make sure you do have a clock going, Sean, because I could take.
I'm going to do it now. I did it then. So I go, I don't know where I am. But
yeah, sounds great. All right. Let's get into the next one.
All right, clock. Here we go. Welcome back to YouTube Niche Finder. I'm fired up because in this very session, let me see where we're going. Okay. Okay. All right. Welcome back to YouTube Niche Finder. I'm fired up because in this session, we're going to be using the 3P framework for getting fierce clarity on our YouTube channel niche. And I love this quote that says, choose the niche that you enjoy, where you can excel, and where you stand a chance of becoming an acknowledged leader. And so what we're going to use is the 3P framework to get a lot of clarity as it pertains to our niche. Now, one of the things, this is in your workbook, or you could pull out a piece of paper, and I want you to draw 3 circles, and we'll jump right into this. In the first circle, we are going to write the word passion. Now, what I want you to do is be thinking about 3, 5, 10 areas, just brainstorming. This is one of those things where we're coloring outside of the lines. We're saying, what are just some ideas that I maybe would be interested in starting a YouTube channel about? And here's some questions. What is the thing that you love so much that you would do it for free? What do you enjoy? What lights you up? Now, also when I think about passion, what pisses you off? Sorry for the strong language, but I use it purposefully. Like, what actually really makes you mad? An injustice that you want to see corrected. How about what breaks your heart or makes you cry? Like something that calls to the very center of your soul. We're already stirring it up, aren't we? But maybe writing some things down, because you could write, I enjoy, snowboarding or skiing. I enjoy tennis. I enjoy collecting Pokemon cards. Wow, what lights me up or what makes me mad? What really lights up my soul? I'm really passionate about my faith. I'm really passionate about. So just write down some ideas. Now, going deeper in passion, what are you curious about? What do you research? Is there something you constantly are studying on YouTube? What section at the bookstore do you gravitate to immediately? I go straight to self-help and personal development. My wife doesn't care. She goes straight to crime fiction, right? So that's a telltale sign, because she could read about literature, memoirs. I actually don't read a ton of fiction. I try to force myself to. I just can't. Well, it's self-awareness. What keeps you curious? What do you research? Now, here's a really powerful question as we're thinking about picking our niche. Can you see yourself still passionate about and wanting to learn more about this topic in 3 to 5 years? James Clear said that knowledge is the compound interest of curiosity. One of the big keys of being successful on YouTube in the long term is staying interested and staying curious and staying passionate about a topic. So you may write down 3, 5 ideas there and kind of filter them through here, but don't overthink it too much right now. One other question: do you want to be associated with this niche in the next 3 to 5 years? Now, once you have a couple ideas there and you're thinking about passions, the next filter is, okay, I've written down 5 things, 10 things. You might write down 38 things. Great. Now we want to filter it through the next P in our 3P framework. Now we're asking, what are you good at? What do you have results in? You can say there's some experience there. And what big milestones have you achieved in your career? What are some things that you have trophies for? What are some things that you have milestones you've reached digitally in a game? What are some experiences that you have under your belt? And then the next filter is, we say, okay, it's not just what am I passionate about, but it's also what would I be the best at? And after this session, we're going to go into a workshop even more on these 3 Ps. The next one is profit. This is the one that says, what problem do you solve? Because people buy solutions to problems. So we're also wondering, what would people buy from you? And you might go, well, I'm not even, I just kind of want to make videos and get YouTube views. But this is the hard work of thinking, what is the business model? What could people buy from me? What would people buy from me? Here's a hard question. What business do you actually want to be in? In YouTube, the business models, one is an advertising business model where there's YouTube ads and brands sponsor your videos. One is maybe pure mission driven and you hope you're being crowdfunded. It's nice to have clarity about that. And then maybe one is much more practical, because you say, I'm going to be involved in a lot of affiliate marketing with health and wellness products, or I'm going to be in direct selling, or I'm going to create an online course. And under this, we're asking questions. Is this also profitable? So if you've got 10 things under passion and you've eliminated 8 of them under proficiency, you narrow it down to the last 2, you might ask yourself, now let's remember, you're passionate about all of them. So you are still passionate and it will keep you curious. And you do have some competency in it, some proficiency in it. And then you're down to 2. And then you ask yourself, especially if you want to go full time, well, which one of these would be the most profitable? That's a good indication that could be your niche and the niche you should choose. But now here's the thing. If you have passion and proficiency and you don't have profit, if you see out to the right side of the framework, what you may have is just a hobby, because you're super passionate about it and you never want to stop doing it. And you're also really good at it. Now, again, maybe it's just you love a particular form of really niche movies or a really specific board game. And there's not a huge audience for it, and there's not a lot of commerce around it, but you're passionate about it. There's a few people interested, and you'll do it for the next 20 years. It may just be a hobby, though. So if you're really trying to not only just be a business-minded content creator, but actually think, could this eventually be a business where I could hire an editor and really eventually work 20 hours a week if I want? Could I scale this up? Like, that's up to you. This is self-awareness of your ambitions. But if you just have passion and proficiency, you just have probably a hobby. Now, if you also go to our niche finder tool channel checklist or channel list, you might say, oh, that would be good. That would be really profitable. And you might even say, and that's my background. Like I went to college for that. And that would be Sean said it's one of the high CPM niches. And I've studied it my whole life. But then if you go deep and you go, but I absolutely hate it. I have learned that I never want to do that again. And I'm actually not that passionate about it. Well, then you're going to get bored and you may make money and you may even have some success, but you may not stick with it. That's a decision to forecast ahead. Like, will this keep me curious? And am I passionate about it? So if I have profit and proficiency, but not passion, I can have boredom. And then ultimately, if I have passion and it's a great niche, but I'm not skilled at it or I'm not proficient at it, I'm probably going to have failure. Dude, I love this thing. And not only that, man, people are like making so much money in this area. Oh my goodness. But you haven't crossed over that proficiency threshold. Well, that can then lead to failure. So in the center of all of this is what we would call your perfect channel topic. And so what we're actually going to do is we're going to go a little bit deeper on this in the next session, but let me give you some examples. So this is Nicole Amber, and she's a kids occupational therapist. So of course, with her education even and her certification, she had the proficiency. Is she passionate about kids and motherhood? Absolutely. Is there profitable business models related to kids and motherhood? You bet. And now today, she's actually not just passed through the initial levels of success in terms of her YouTube channel, but you'd be shocked by the opportunities, the doors, the amount of income she's earning to the tune of multiple six figures on the way to seven figures, all from nailing her niche, finding her niche at the center of the 3P framework. This is Chana, whose channel is called Techno Dad. And he's not just in tech. Tech is a little broad, but he's actually in home theater reviews. So he's doing TVs and amplifier setups and headphones and all kinds of audio type of content. And he has had he continues to DJ, as is one of his passions, has had massive success on YouTube, working with brands, getting countless thousands of dollars of home theater equipment for free, and earning tens of thousands of dollars to the tune of nearly 60K a year on the side, as he continues to also do one of his true passions, which is DJing. So what do you find at the center of the 3 Ps? And if the word niche even feels limiting, I want to encourage you, think of it like choosing a focus for your channel instead. You know, in the center of the 3 Ps, what have we really done? We've narrowed maybe our focus. If you feel like you're out here, what we're trying to do is just bring it in. And as we go through these sessions, we'll learn that sometimes it is possible to be a little too niche, like too specific, but and that could be bad, but it's always good to be focused. If someone comes to your channel, they go, wow, I get it. It's focused. I just know what it's about. It's clear where they're going. That's powerful. And if someone goes, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I kind of get it. Remember, if you confuse, you lose. And so think about choosing your niche as narrowing your focus. A lack of focus is like a shotgun. It can actually make a big impact, but it can't go the distance. Whereas clear focus is like a laser. It cuts through obstacles and can travel well beyond its starting point. But let's go a little bit deeper, because I want you to jump right into the next session so we can work a little bit deeper on the 3 P. Well, let's go a little bit deeper, because I want to jump into the next session where we can go into the 3 P framework more so we can get even more clarity. All right. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the 3P Framework Workshop. All right, we'll change that up. Hang on. Framework Workshop. All right, here we go. Welcome to the 3P Framework Workshop. In this session, what I want you to do is grab your YouTube Niche Finder Channel Ideas tool, and we're going to work through this framework a little bit more. And so what I want to do first, as you're thinking about this, is give you an example of how I could apply this framework in my own life. And I think about Sean Cannell back in 2009. And if I'm doing this exercise, and if I think about passion first, here's an idea of what I would write there. I would write guitar, because I loved playing guitar. I had an acoustic guitar. I was downloading chord charts off the internet. I loved snowboarding, and I would go to Stevens Pass near Seattle, Washington. I love video, and I was doing video for my local church and had started a video production business. And I also loved leadership. I loved Christianity in terms of my being in ministry and church leadership, which would be even different than leadership. And so there's like 5 or 6 ideas that I could write in passion. So what I'm asking you to do is think about, okay, what are just some things that you're passionate about that fit in there? And just write them down. Now, one of the reasons why I want you to download the channel ideas list is just go through there, and there might be some things you didn't even think about. Like as specific as where maybe you may or may not be passionate about it, but you might say, I love Microsoft Excel. Like, I just love it. Like, I mean, I'm good at it. I love QuickBooks. Like, I'm just really good at QuickBooks. And like, you maybe didn't, I've never thought about that, but some of those things can be the most powerful and profitable ideas. And you just have to ask, does it pass the passion test? Okay, so if I go a little bit deeper, and if ultimately now I say, okay, what about proficiency though? Guitar. Nope. I mean, I can kind of play guitar when I'm being delusional. And that's the important part about this entire course. We need to be really sober-minded and self-aware to say, like, what really is my proficiency level? I'm not talking about being mean or hard on yourself, or also going to the extreme of I'm not good at anything. You're great at stuff, but just self-aware that that's not your biggest strength. And guitar, I not only was I not great at it, but I was probably years away from even being at like a low level of competency. And arguably, the passion level was probably only like a 4 out of 10. Okay, snowboarding, very passionate about it. Good at it, like great form, great technique, really good at it. Maybe not, but probably could do. I could probably make a snowboarding channel. But then I started asking questions like, well, how often do I have to go up to the mountain? How expensive is this going to be? How does my lifestyle support this particular niche? Can I be proficient at it? Do I have the bandwidth to actually do this topic well? So I maybe cross that one off as well. How about leadership? Now, I love leadership. Read a couple books on it. Helped as an assistant youth pastor, grow our youth ministry from 16 to 200, and then junior high, another 100 on a Wednesday night. Can't take credit for any of that. A, God gets the glory. 1, 2, Jeff Morris, it was the leader. I was just mainly learning. Now, of course, I was in my own mind, a great youth pastor assistant. But I would argue that I wasn't at like a level of proficiency to really teach leadership yet. Could I have gotten away with it? Certainly. Could I have done a channel? We'll learn later. Could I have used our 4-part expert framework on how to be an expert, even if you're a newbie? I could have, but that one probably would be crossed out as well. But then I would come back to video. It's 2009 when I'm doing this, and you have to do this framework whenever you are in your journey. And I've done video since 2003, 6 years. I've edited hundreds of videos for my youth ministry. Now I've done wedding videos for others. I've invested over $10,000 from taking out a loan, from saving up money from waiting tables at Red Robin. I've invested all this money, and I'm also helping someone else, other YouTubers even create content. I'm doing video production for them. I'm helping Jeff on a project, being the videographer and being the editor. And that was the origin of Think Media. Although I didn't have anywhere near as fierce clarity as this, it wasn't, I'm looking back with, hindsight's 2020. It still was, I started out in video, and the first video I uploaded on Think Media was like, this channel is about media, social media is coming, videos coming, YouTube's coming. It was kind of weird. I felt like I was still confused in the moment, but I look back, I'm like, oh, I was on the right track, because naturally, passionate about video. Yeah. Proficient at video. Yep. I'd done some things, made some mistakes, and it was the amount of hours I'd clocked in it as well. And then you ask, can it be profitable? Well, can you link to cameras as an affiliate? Sure can. Would there be different courses you could make about it? All kinds. How to use a specific camera could be a course. How to do video marketing. Could you actually do services for local businesses? I did. I started a business called Clear Vision Media, and I would help local businesses with video marketing. So that's kind of how this framework could work. And your goal is to look for thematic overlap of the 3 Ps. And again, there's maybe 10 in the passion, but you eliminate them down, and maybe you get to profit and you're like, shoot, there's still 4 there. Well, don't stick with this entire course, because we will keep dialing it in. At some point, you may just have to choose. You're like, Sean, I'm really torn between 2. Well, let's just pick one. Like, if they make it through the whole framework, just pick one. But here's a question to help us. What topic would establish you as an authority with the least amount of effort? So for me, could I have committed my entire life to guitar and got good at it? I could have. How much effort would it have taken? A freaking lot. How about snowboarding? Same thing. And as we age, could I also have dislocated my hip? I could have. And, leadership, lifelong journey. In fact, one of the things we'll kind of discover is I'm also holding future niches I'm passionate about. My ultimate goal is to teach leadership and business from a faith perspective. And I'm fine if it doesn't happen in the next 3 years, might not happen in the next 10. It may never happen, but I just also have different things where there's the things I'm aspiring to, but there's the YouTube niche finder tool that helps us get sniper of what's going to get us results and momentum immediately. And watch, I'm still on my journey of hoping I can become a good leader. I'm still on my journey of hoping I can go deeper in seeing the results of, can I even build a business? So what topic would establish me as an authority? Watch, with the least amount of effort. Shoot, I'm already 7 years into video. I'm thousands and thousands of dollars into video. So that one becomes the logical choice. So which one is best for you when you use the 3P framework? This is Tanya Eliza. She had massive success in network marketing and direct selling, and then pivoted and built on that to be a no BS mentor to smart marketers, specifically helping people grow their online business and learn marketing. So she found her niche based on her experience, her passion. She's built a multiple 7-figure business. So at one point it was direct selling. Now it's kind of teaching marketing, specifically to people in network marketing. This is Brian Thompson from the Smuggler's Room. He helps people build something out of nothing and inspires people to take on wild and crazy projects. And he taps into really trends and influence surfing, because he does a lot of Star Wars stuff, Dune stuff, and of course can tap into the views that come from that. And he understands his passion, loves what he's doing, proficient at it. Yeah, look at the kind of stuff he's making. Look at that Dune pain box. Look at that Star Wars room decor down below. So he loves he's passionate about it. And then he's found a way to profit from it as well. This is Sean Chandler, who loves to talk about movies. Passion, absolutely. Proficient at it. If you truly love movies, if you have endless endurance to watch movies, if you love to study movies, if you love to think about them, talk about them, and go deeper after and continue to read about them after, well, he's got the passion for it. He's also got the proficiency for it, plus built up YouTube skills, which of course we teach like in our program Video Ranking Academy, built up the skills to actually create YouTube content. And then profit, absolutely. YouTube ads, brand deals. And we've taught in other places about very unique strategies because there's really business models for every niche, but you want to be clear on what they are. Here's Plants and Lucia. Loves plants, loves planting, learning, growing. 42,000 subscribers. She actually started from scratch. By the way, all the examples in this Niche Finder course are our Video Ranking Academy students. She started at 0 and certainly passion. Yep. Proficiency. Yep. Profit. Absolutely. Is there other people that want to learn gardening, buy books on gardening, buy affiliate products related to gardening? She actually created a course about learning light, just a very low cost, like $27 course that help you master light for growing your plants. And so she found her genius, her perfect channel topic at the center of the 3 Ps. Larry Chung is a chartered financial analyst. His experience being deep strategy about markets, deep strategy about international stock markets, and does research, analysis, and risk assessment. So he had all that experience. Started a YouTube channel and it grew rather quickly. In fact, he got 1,000 subscribers in less than 10 days, 60,000 subscribers in about 7 months, because he interwove his passion, his proficiency with, of course, a YouTube skill set, but he found his niche being what could he establish himself as an authority in with the least amount of effort, what he had been building up for his life throughout his lifetime and the expertise he'd been building up throughout his lifetime. And is it profitable? You bet. Like to a crazy level. Personal finance and finance in general is one of the most profitable niches. And so here's the thing. You got to do the work. And I want to encourage you, be patient because clarity does take time. If you don't have total clarity after this, this is okay. This is only one framework of multiple different frameworks you're going to learn in this course. And so if you're not feeling total encouragement yet, don't quit. Keep going through the content and then use the YouTube Niche Finder channel ideas tool as a place of inspiration. It's not a limiting tool because as you learn these frameworks, it will be up to you to decide and do your own research as it pertains to, is this a good niche at this intersection of the 3 Ps or not? But chances are, if it's listed on the YouTube Niche Finder channel ideas tool, or if there's 3 or 4 that you want to workshop throughout this entire course, highly recommend you use that. But now we're going to dive into how to research the money-making opportunity of your niche. So I'll see you in the next session. Yeah, we could keep it moving. I'm just going to sip on some water and things.
Yeah, definitely. We can keep it moving. Great job so far. There was a question that came in, but we are going to be addressing that in just a little. And Sean did address it during this session, but can you learn proficiency as you go? So that's going to be in an upcoming session. We're going to talk about that so that you can learn, like Sean said, if you aren't quite as proficient, that there's other ways that you could still be successful on that channel. I would challenge though and say that you want to be someone. Oh, my mic's on set. You want to be, you want to have skills in the space that you're going to work through. And again, it's going to be coming up in a little bit. So stay locked into the live stream. I'm ready, Sean, if you're ready to go into the next session, and just want to say hi to Wendy and hi to Teresa. And yes, Teresa wants to know, Sean, can she put a down payment on Sean's teaching leadership from a Christian perspective? Yeah, we'll
Let's make
happen.
an NFT. And then whenever, whether that's in 3 years or 10, who knows? But I love it. And Kurt, thank you for sharing that. All right, here we go. We're going to keep it going. Session 4. Friend, welcome back to YouTube Niche Finder. I'm excited because in this very session, we're going to talk about how to research the potential of your niche. And we're going to be using these 7 tools: YouTube search, Google Trends, WordStream and or Uber Suggest, Amazon, Udemy, Answer the Public, and vidIQ. And our goal in this session is, maybe you've heard about some of these tools for coming up with video ideas, and that this will immediately apply to that as well. But what we're essentially doing here is we're doing kind of market research. One of the things, if you're ever going to make a business plan, is you do market research before starting a new business. You say, what is the TAM? What's the total addressable market? Which means, how large is this market? How many people in this market are interested in this kind of thing? Now, what we're going to be doing is not super scientific, but it's really going to be just like having a wide lack of clarity and then like a laser bringing everything into focus. Is we're just doing due diligence to say, okay, maybe from the last session, you've really narrowed things down to 4 or 5 ideas, or you're still really wondering about that profit P. Is there enough people in this niche? Is there enough opportunity? Is there enough ways to make money in this particular niche? And so let's start with YouTube search. And I'm just going to kind of shuffle through different examples of channels as well as how to use the tool. So in YouTube search, you could look up a general idea of that you're considering your channel niche to be about. So in this case, I'm going to look up plant-based diet recipes. So your goal here in using YouTube search is simply this. You're going to be looking at, is there videos that are successful related to this niche? Now, you may need to try a couple different wordings, but plant-based, so it could be plant-based recipes, could be like, I suppose, plant-based supplements, just plant-based in general. There's other wordings of it. It could be vegan, right? So you kind of want to orbit around, but all we're simply doing is asking, how many views are videos in this niche getting, right? And clearly there's a lot of majorly viewed videos here. Now, a couple tools that I have installed. I have a tool called keywordseverywhere.com installed. And that's actually telling me, it gives me a little snapshot of Google Trends and shows me that in 2010, plant-based content was not that popular. In 2020, looks around that 2016, it was hugely popular. And now it still is, but it's gone down a little bit. So that's a tool. We also have vidIQ installed. But all we're doing is we're simply, again, trying to verify interest in the topic. And this one is pretty clear. And here's a great example. This is Cami. She loves cooking and eating a plant-based diet and loves to make foods that are full of flavor and that feed the soul, but that are also tough when you cut out meat and dairy. And so her channel niche is very clear. And her topic, using YouTube search, I would say is verified. It would be a good niche to start a channel in. And her channel is proof of that as it continues to grow. Now, the next one is using Google Trends. Google Trends. Now, one of the ways that we can use Google Trends is to compare maybe how we're going to position our niche, is to compare ultimately obviously make an edit here because we need Google Trends to actually work. I'll go to next tool. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Now the next tool is Google Trends. Let's look at a way we could use this powerful tool. So when it comes to Google Trends, let's stay on the idea of kind of the vegan keto type of content. And so first of all, you could just type in a general category topic that you're maybe interested in. And I want to encourage you, don't give up with just the first try. Think about what are other words related to it. So if we look at something like vegan, what we're looking at is, this is in the United States. So you could check for your local region, asking yourself, where is the audience I want to reach? In the past 12 months, I'm actually going to go to 5 years. And I'm going to go from web search to YouTube search. Now, the goal with Google Trends is to compare my channel positioning. So do I want, maybe I'm still even trying to come up with my channel name. Do I want my channel to be called the Victorious Vegan? Do I maybe want to position my channel more directly in something like keto? Do I want to name my channel the Paleo Kitchen? Or do I actually want to name my channel Infinity Intermittent Fasting? So what I've done is I've added 5 different terms here, and you can see interest over time. And you actually could see that vegan on a whole is almost twice as influential as keto, that paleo and intermittent fasting are much smaller, and that what we're ultimately doing here is comparing um, the last 5 years as well, seeing that at one point keto was really trending in 2019 and still is, but is also significantly lower than even the search term vegan. Now, this reveals a lot. You can see how this would also apply to, like, you might have the Victorious Vegan channel, but do a whole series on keto because it's also trending. I will oftentimes use Google Trends to decide what camera series we should teach on next and compare 4 different cameras and say, whoa, this one's so much more influential. Remember, we're determining profitability. So what do you, if I was going to want to sell an online course on intermittent fasting versus veganism, by sheer size of influence, it would maybe appear that veganism would be a lot better to do. However, based on the 1,000 true fans principle, intermittent fasting is still plenty large. This is just one of our tools. It's just one of the tools that we're using to get insights, to do some research, to think through some things. And it makes me think about Ben from Keto Camp, who has built an insane brand in terms of based around keto, clearly, even having keto in the very name of his channel. And he's had massive success. And you can also see he teaches intermittent fasting as one of his things, but keto is more of the brand. And one of the things that we'll learn as we're going through the course is sometimes you want to have a wide channel brand, but niche videos. So in this, we're refining our passion, our proficiency, and our profit, trying to determine, is this niche worth making content on? All right, next we're going to use WordStream, and we're not going to use Ubersuggest today, but it'll essentially accomplish the same thing. And this is a free keyword research tool. You can narrow down to industries, you can enter locations, but I don't care about either of those things. I'm simply going to search DIY home improvements, and I'm going to look for keyword results. All right. And so on the other side here, we have some of the keyword results now of DIY home remodel. 2,400 people a month are searching for this. When you see the competition, this is how much it costs if we want to advertise. CPC is cost per click if we want to advertise, which we don't want to do. The competition is mainly in advertising, not necessarily in organic search on something like YouTube. So again, what we're doing here is we are verifying interest. And if we can see that in a month's time, based on this one tool, and we'll look at some other keyword research tools in a moment, what are some different ideas, easy DIY home improvement projects? Now, it appears that the search volume, it might seem low, like only 110 people are searching a month for DIY home improvement projects. This is just one tool, and I would say it's actually probably a lot more than that. However, that exact keyword phrase that's probably pretty accurate. So you go, okay, all I'm asking is there verifiable interest in this niche? And let's actually jump into Ubersuggest. And in DIY home improvements, you notice sometimes the reason to use multiple different tools is you even get a little bit of different numbers in terms of the top line search volume here. As we go over to keyword ideas, this is a little bit lower for DIY home improvements than WordStream. And then we get some of the other numbers related to Google search, related to Google search on in this particular niche. So then you can play around and actually find maybe different angles. And eventually this will lead you down to different video ideas. Here's one of the homework items of this course. Can you come up with 50 video ideas in the niche? Passion, proficiency, profit. I've narrowed it down. And when I think about it, do they come relatively quickly? Off the top of your head, man, I love gardening. I could talk about how to, get the fertilizer ready, get the soil ready. These are topic ideas. You could brainstorm in your own mind, but as you're using these tools, you could also brainstorm and ask yourself, how easily do video ideas come to me? This is Brent from Bring Your Own Tools. Now, it's not really directly DIY home improvement, but this would be the idea as you're figuring out your brand. He's kind of going a little more general, weekly DIY videos that are it could be projects, building tables, which isn't really home improvement. But again, imagine going through and saying, okay, what kind of channel do I want to be in? Maybe I don't want to be a home improvement channel, but I am a handyman. I am good at this kind of stuff. And who else could I research, taking it all the way back to YouTube? Can I find some other channels? What are they doing? Man, Brent has 231,000 subscribers. That's a good sign. Competition is a good thing because it verifies there is an interested audience. And that's why don't get too focused on, but Ubersuggest only says there's 80 searches a month. Well, no. Brent has 250,000 people subscribed and 86,000 views on a particular video where you're using the collective of the tools to just get insight. So I'm giving you an inside look into my process of how I coach people, of how I build out business models and ideas in the stage of just researching a particular niche. And the next one will be Amazon. Why go to Amazon? Well, you could go to Amazon because you want to look for products and you want to look for, let's say, particularly in the personal branding, thought leadership, expert kind of arena, which some of us on YouTube want to be in. We could ask ourselves, has anybody written a book on this topic that is actually successful? So I went and I looked up public speaking. And there's not only a lot of books on public speaking, but there's a lot of successful books on public speaking. And one of the metrics I'm looking at is how many reviews they have. Reviews are probably 5% or less of sales. So if a book even has the potential to get 2,809 reviews, How to Develop Self-Confidence and Influence People by Public Speaking by Dale Carnegie, and then there's lots of successful books. This is the thing with competition. You go, oh, someone already wrote a public speaking book. There is so many successful public speaking books. The key, what's the unique angle? What's the unique perspective? But all I'm trying to do is verify interest. So I go over to Amazon, maybe start researching my topic and say, is there verifiable products being sold in the niche? Like, could I write a book someday? I don't know if I want to, but could I? It'd be better to be in a niche that I could. Or could I make an online course? We'll cover that in a second. So here's one of our students, Alex Lyon, who is a communication coach. So not only is it a verifiable niche and something people are interested in learning, but what are the business models he could do? It's like unlimited, right? He's created online courses. He can write a book if he wants. He could teach in the corporate sector. He could teach solopreneurs. So there's a lot of ways he could take it. And by the end of this, you're just asking, great, can I verify, interest in this niche and start building out a business model around it? This is Mary's Nest, and she's started our course Video Ranking Academy at 0 and is at 576,000 subscribers. Traditional cooking for the modern pioneer, bone broth, ferment, sourdough, and more. And if you grow your channel to that size, of course, you start realizing that, all right, well, I could make pretty good money just on ad revenue if I have a channel of that size. But 1,000 true fans. What's the business model? What's the profit P? So one of the things you could also do on Amazon is you could go to Amazon and literally say, what are the 5 to 10 to 50 to 100 products that tie into this niche? Is there commerce here? Is there e-commerce here? So this is Mary's Amazon page, and she's got her canning bookshelf. She's got aprons. She's got her cookbook library. She's got emergency preparedness, kitchen linens. So you start also, so video and filming equipment, favorite planners though, her kitchen garden bookshelf. This is all stuff she can promote as an affiliate, but she also watch the power of niching down, starting your channel in a particular focus, having a verifiable potential business model, having a way to do affiliate marketing in the short term, and then growing to a size. Mary's on her way to 1 million subscribers. Money's coming in. Maybe she wants to work with a ghostwriter or someone to help her write or publish a book, and she wants to do her own cookbook. And of course, you can kind of hustle to do that at any time, but maybe because of her influence, not only maybe, it's likely she could do a traditional book deal because book publishers want to work with people who have platforms. So as a next step, she could scale to mass market and build an entire other business. Maybe eventually she wants to work with somebody white labeling or somebody that wants to come around her to actually make her own kitchen products. Why would they want to do that? Because she started in a niche. And not only was it her passion and proficiency, but there was profitable business model potentials related to that niche. So that's how I use Amazon for just doing research. And another example is Udemy. We're asking the question, could I make an online course about this topic? The e-commerce, or rather the e-learning industry, is estimated to be well over now, especially accelerated because of the pandemic, $1 billion a day industry by 2025. It's like almost doubled by 2028. The next decade is going to be an incredible opportunity to make an incredible difference in people's lives and a very lucrative living by packaging what you know into an online course. But before even starting, or when picking out your niche, you might want to ask, could I make an online course about this? So this is Lauren Bateman. So she teaches guitar. This goes back to the idea. Remember, I was like, should I teach guitar? I shouldn't. Should she? Yes, because she had the proficiency. She was also passionate about it. And besides her YouTube channel, you ask yourself, can I go? Is there other successful online courses about this? The key about niching down, which is contrary to what a lot of people think, is that we sometimes hope, oh, I hope no one's done this yet. It's usually a very bad strategy. You're either about to strike gold and you're the most early adopter of all time, which is like a 1%, 1%, 1% chance of that, or more than likely, you're going to stay in obscurity. Because if there's already successful products, successful channels, successful books, it's a good sign because it proves there's people that want that. You know, I read actually about a book a week, maybe 2 to 3 books a week now. I'm on a roll. And I probably read at least 2 books, 3 books a week, and I buy 7. So it's a weird, I'm not catching up. I'm speeding up how much I'm reading, and I'm also speeding up how much I'm purchasing in terms of books. If you ask Sean, did you just buy 1 marketing book? Did you just buy 1 leadership book? The answer is, are you kidding? I've bought 250 leadership books. I've bought 86. Now, you might not buy books, but when you learn about a market, what you learn is that, how about running? So I buy running hats, premium running hats. I buy them from CL. Now there's this other company, Runner, RNNR. And I'm like, these are dope. I need to buy another hat. I don't need another hat. I have 18 running hats. Do I need another hat? No. But when you're passionate about something, you know, do you just, I bought a PS5 and I just bought 1 game. You're going to buy multiple games. So the point is, like, oftentimes we're intimidated by the competition. Don't be encouraged, because it just verifies there are people not only that will spend money on multiple different products, but that the world is so big that if the market is verified enough, then you can actually have massive opportunity for having a lucrative YouTube channel and niche that you build out. So if we look for guitar lessons on Udemy, this is a way that I would dig around on the platform here. Is number one, we'd see that there's many, many successful courses here. There's a lot of competition, but many successful courses. I can discern a couple opportunities here where it's all dudes. So then you also, these are nuances you might start studying. You go, okay, well, that's your difference. Different is better than better. You might say, okay, actually being a woman on Udemy would be different because maybe somebody wants to learn from a woman. They just resonate more. It's true. We like to sometimes learn from people we can relate with more. Here's the other thing. I'm not encouraging you even to make a course on Udemy. This is just a research tool. We have advice that's different from that. But then notice this topics over here. You also then realize, well, we could even niche down. What if I do rock guitar? What if I do fingerstyle guitar? What if I actually go violin? Because I know that as well. What if I go bass guitar? Can I actually niche down further? And then here is how we're verifying things in the niche. So right here, this course is $174.99 and 239,796 students have taken it. You could see my calculator on screen. I'm going to multiply that by 174.99. And that's $41 million, almost $42 million. Now, sometimes Udemy has a discount on the course. I'm not sure if that's really what it's sold for because I'm not seeing that discount. But even if it's, could you make it on 41 million US dollars? Like, would you be all right? You say no. Okay, well, I don't know what your cost of living is or where you're shopping on a monthly basis. So here's the good news, 1,000 true fans, friends, right? This one is at scale. So what if you find your niche, you find your angle, you find your thing, you niche down, could you make it on 10% of that? Right? What is that? 4 million? Could you make it on 10% of that? What's that? 400,000? Like from potentially one online course. And all I'm suggesting is that we use this as a metric for verifying interest in what our channel's potentially about, and that as we think things through, we say, maybe I don't want to go that direction though. Like I see it, I want to do my due diligence, but you potentially don't go down that path. Now, what Lauren ultimately did, you can see here, is she created the seven level guitar system. She sells her own course for $197. Now, this is something, by the way, if you're interested, we teach in our Inner Circle program. So we have a course called Video Rake It Academy that's about mastering YouTube. And then we actually have a monthly membership as well that's about building online courses and scaling your online business. So depending on where you are in your journey, it may not be the next step you should focus on. And it's not for everybody. But if you would say, I see the light, Sean, I get it. So if I nail my niche, master building my influence on YouTube and getting to build up an audience and my 1,000 true fans, and eventually package what I know into an online course. Wow, I see the math. I mean, the numbers make sense. To a tune of, again, earning $20,000 a year, 200,000 or $41 million in terms of over the years as you scale up your empire. It's a very powerful business model. And it's one way of considering that profit P, right? Is thinking through that profit P. The next is Answer the Public. Answer the Public, this is Teamy, and she is an artist. And so she's at 275,000 subscribers. And Answer the Public is just another tool for doing some research. And what you can do is you can go to answerthepublic.com. You could select the area that you want to be in. Could be United States, United Kingdom, whatever country. I'm going to look up colored pencils because that's one of the things that Teamy does. And what this does is, more than anything, it's going to give you a kind of a tree, an idea tree of topics related to color pencils. Very hard to read on the screen. Here's what I recommend you do. You go to data and it puts it into list form. And if you have the tool Keywords Everywhere installed, which I purchased credits for $10, it usually lasts me a year because I don't pull too many reports. But what's really cool about it is it puts the search volume next to the video ideas, at least based on Keywords Everywhere's numbers. So can colored pencils be erased? Can they, how colored pencils are made? What are the best pencils? When, where? And as we go through this, we can even see really interesting questions like when were colored pencils invented? So what's the point? We're talking about niche and not specific video ideas, but here's how I use the tool. I'm in research mode. Is there 50 video ideas in this niche that I feel confident about making? Is there search volume related to these? Which colored pencils are the best? That comes up under the which question. If I go to Amazon and I look at some of the best sellers in colored pencils, what are they? How much money or how many reviews are there on them? How much does it appear there's the sales volume on these? And we're not even going deeply scientific. You can do this kind of with a cursory overview. We're just kind of hovering over these platforms. Let me go to YouTube and look at other people doing art tutorials, art drawings, and maybe as niche as, one of the people we'll learn from is niche down in acrylics. So remember, if we're not just in art, but is there a sub niche that we want to be a part of? So Answer the Public is now another tool that can give us more insights and that can also help us narrow our niche or maybe find a different angle on it. Because maybe what we also realize is I'm also trying to lead us to saying, okay, I know art for sure, but maybe colored pencils isn't the thing. I want to look around more. I want to look around for some white space. I'm not necessarily saying that you should just go do a beginner's guitar channel and a beginner's course eventually for how to play guitar. It is crowded. But as we were on Udemy and we started seeing fingering guitar or rock guitar, we start saying, oh, I didn't even think about that. That is an insight that came as we're using the tools to say, you know what the thing is? I'm going deep in rock guitar. Everything rock guitar, chords rock guitar, pedals for rock guitar. Rock guitar is the thing. I'm going classical guitar. We're better. In fact, in a future session, we're going to be learning about this. We're better off when we double, triple, or even quadruple niche down in our passion, proficiency, and profit. And so that's Answer the Public. And again, when Keywords Everywhere is installed, and I think if you've just added a little money to your account, as much as like $10, it will start doing those overlays. And there's another cool thing that you can do with that. Now, one thing to know about some of these tools, the next level of them are behind a paywall in some cases. Answer the Public gives you just 2 free searches a day. Ubersuggest just gives you a couple free searches a day, and they don't necessarily show you everything. And there are paid versions of these. First, you can get very far with the free versions because we're looking for just kind of, again, I wouldn't even call it surface level, but we're just looking for enough data and feedback. And again, if you wanted to do 100 searches on Answer the Public, then it may be an investment that you make. But we're just looking for a combination of using all of these tools. Obviously, you can use YouTube for free. In fact, this next one and final one is vidIQ. And what we're going to do here is, again, dive a little bit deeper into keyword research in terms of what we could find inside of here for specifically YouTube search volume. And so notice back on DIY home improvements, this is the web-based app for vidIQ, and I am on a paid plan. We are an affiliate for vidIQ. If I was going to invest in one tool, I would invest in vidIQ because it's YouTube-based. It gives you a lot of other things that can help you. Our link is vidiq.com/think for a 30-day trial of the paid version. But you can see here the search volume. This is based off YouTube DIY home improvements. But now look that we go, okay, let me go by, when I say TAM, what's the total addressable market? How big can the market be? This right here is a really good sign. DIY, vidIQ has it listed as 2.6 million searches a month on YouTube, which makes sense because people use YouTube at a very high level for DIY tutorials. Now, DIY is not a very good niche. It's a little broad, but it's a great start because you go, okay, there's a lot of humans. This is all I need to know. There's probably more than this. Is everyone on YouTube? How accurate is the tool? Like, don't overthink it. We're just looking, saying, okay. And you go search around videos, you go like, there's a lot of stuff happening here. There's clearly volume. Now, how could I niche down? And you look through here, you're like, okay, maybe do I want to do a DIY home makeover channel, really focusing on, home makeover stuff? And then on that, now it gets exciting because kitchen renovation fits inside of that, right? Um, Remodeling ideas fits inside of that. Simple home improvements fits inside of that. And I'm getting video ideas, but I'm also clarifying maybe the angling of my niche, the name, brand of my channel. But while I'm in here, I also see the niche within a niche of mobile home makeover. And one of your goals is you don't want to be the best, you want to be the only. And if you try to be the best at DIY, it's an incredibly saturated market. You become the number one channel for mobile home makeovers, everything mobile homes, tips on mobile homes, upping your mobile home, increasing the value of your mobile home. Like now, all of a sudden, there's a level of specificity, and you may have just found your sweet spot. And so that's a couple tools that I like to use and an overview of how I use them. These tools will help you, again, not just in your niche research, but these will help you come up with video ideas. These will help you kind of compare and contrast different types of niches. And they will help you on your journey. I repeatedly return to these tools. I've known my niche for a while now, but mostly I use these on a consistent basis for maybe a new product I'm going to create, a new book I want to write, the next online course I want to create, the next video I want to make, the next series I want to make. Should I even go down this path? Coaching others. So these are 7 tools that will help you. But here's another example of Erica Giraldo in terms of she's a immigration law expert on immigration policy. She gets 250,000 views a month. It's also cool because our program, Video Ranking Academy, again, these are all students. It works in all different languages, and you can use these tools globally wherever you are. And she helps people get their visas. And so if you went to YouTube, by the way, that might be as far as you need to go, because you go, okay, she's got 255,000 subscribers. Then the niche is clearly large enough if that's what your ambition would be. Here's what I mean. You might not ever have a channel that's 250,000 subs, but what's the practicality of you sticking with it, putting out great content, of getting to 25,000? Much more practical if you look at other channels in your niche. And then what's the likelihood if you can get 25,000 subscribers on you doing immigration tips, helping people with immigration, more niched in Spanish, Spanish titles, Spanish videos, speaking Spanish, and then 1,000 true fans, because this actually leads to their very business where they have income coming of helping people actually get their visas. So then you say, what's the business model? And you're like, shoot, she might be doing $1 million a year in her business. But what's the opportunity for you to do 85,000 profit after all the expenses of vidIQ and everything else that you do? This, my friends, is how we would think about researching our niche. And if we were to head over to vidIQ and look at how to get my visa, we see that, okay, vidIQ says it's 1,153 searches a month. But immigration is 75,000 people looking for that kind of information. And I'm searching in English too. I translated her bio because I couldn't even read her bio on the on the about page. So she's using even non-English words in terms of the views and the volume she's getting. But I'm looking even from an English side, people looking specifically for an immigration lawyer. And so once again, passionate about it, helping people, proficient at it. It's actually her business. Is it profitable? Absolutely. And you think about a business like that, it also is making a massive difference in changing people's lives. And so again, there's the 7 tools. Be patient. Don't be overwhelmed. You know, where we are in the course so far, it's already like, shoot, I've learned so much. I'm at a place of indecision, and I want to just challenge you. Just stick with this. It might get worse before it gets better, because you're like, you're tearing down everything I ever believed. That might be necessary so that we can build your YouTube channel on the most solid foundation possible. And friend, I just really want you to know, I am obsessed with your success. I am obsessed with getting you to full-time and beyond on YouTube. So sometimes this might not be things we want to hear, or it might be like, I feel like I've got a lot of thinking and work to do. That's the process we want to embrace, because on the other side is the freedom, lifestyle, income, joy, and impact we want to make with our channel. So let's keep going and stick with me in this course, because in the next session, we're actually going to share and learn about the 5 YouTube profit tests and go even deeper into the profit P.
Woo! How you feeling, Sean?
Good.
Good. Keep going, or I have some questions that came in I could answer.
They're solid ones that could be starred in clarity. Take it
I
away.
have so really good. I have one that will actually go inside of the course, and then some are actually just pointing people to future sessions.
Do you want to do it together? What's the question? Throw it up.
Okay, so the first one is how do you determine if you should start a second channel versus just expanding your current channel when you're thinking about a niche? So if you're just expanding into expand your original niche channel and go to a broader audience in that niche. Now, I know you're going to talk a little bit about that, but I don't know if we necessarily talk about starting second channels.
Okay, can I put it up? And should I just, do you want to smash it together, or do you want to smash it yourself?
Yeah, I think you could do it.
Okay. All right, before we get into the next session, I also, all right. Okay, before we get into the next session, I want to tackle a question that came in during the live recording of this course that might be on your mind as well. And the Green Boater asks, I'm wondering, how would you determine if you should start a second YouTube channel versus expand your original channel, which say broadens your audience in a niche? And so here's what I would recommend. I think that you should avoid starting second channels, period, because it's hard enough to build one channel. And one of the things that we learned at the beginning was we want to focus our time, our energy, and our resources. So while there might be a good reason to say these two things are kind of different, this should go here and this should go here, my foundational advice is which channel will get you to profitability the fastest? What is your shortest path to making money? And it's because you need money for the mission, and it's because you need money for expansion. First, the shortest path to making money, so that you could quit your job and work on this 40 hours, 50 hours, 60 hours a week if you want, because you are earning enough to focus entirely on YouTube. If that's the season you find yourself in, well, maybe you could start a second channel. But if you've got a full-time job or a side hustle or a school, and you're barely keeping up with one channel, to start a second channel is definitely a dilution of resources. Then secondly, could you not only be working full-time on your YouTube channel, but now hire a video editor and therefore spend your time architecting, creating, thinking about content, making the content, but saving 20, 25, 30 hours a week video editing? Now you might want to have 2 channels. So those would be the initial stages. And then I would say that the framework for whether you should start a second channel or not is, are you uploading videos subscribers didn't subscribe for, or are you really passionate? Like, I really want to talk about this and I see where this will lead, and this will lead to the next place in my business. Like, I should start a second channel. If it can all fit on the same channel by broadening your niche, as you asked, if it fits, that's up for you to follow the tests and the frameworks to say, man, will one upload grow the subscribers and the next one tear it down? Because these things are too disconnected. And what I would encourage you is to keep going through the rest of the videos in this course, because I think we'll find more clarity about what it means to really specify what one channel is. How broad is too broad? How niche is too niche? And yes, eventually I do think here at Think Media, we do have multiple channels and we plan on starting more, but we're also a team of 20 people. And so you need money for the mission. You can be multi-passionate, potentially create channels on multiple things in the future, but try to narrow it down to one, focus on it until it gets profitable, focus on it until it gets momentum, and then potentially expand out later.
So good. So good. Well, Sean, why don't you take a drink of water real quick? And I just want to share with you guys. Actually, that second channel that Sean was talking about here at Think Media, that is our Think Media podcast channel. And this is a channel that Sean and I host together where we go deeper on topics like how to win on YouTube this year. We're pulling back the curtain on our latest 2 episodes of our leadership retreat. So if you want to see how we do things here at Think Media, what it looks like to have vision for your year and how you can have the best year, you can check out those episodes. And then one of our most popular episodes that I want to recommend to you is what if you have an unsupportive spouse? This one here has been one of our best performing videos. And this really goes deep into the idea of if you have a spouse or a family member that aren't as supportive as you would like them to be, we walk through some different questions and ways that you can actually see if it's them being unsupportive or if it's that your communication, which it was for me, was not exactly the best. So I would want to encourage you to go over to the Think Media podcast channel and subscribe there. Let me know if you're watching live right now and if you are already a subscriber of that channel. And then lastly, we are doing a giveaway where we're going to be giving away a general admission ticket to our Grow with Video live in person. And if you rate and review the podcast, you can enter to win that if you go to thinkmediapodcast.com, and you can enter to win that giveaway. But we would love for you to rate and review. And I'll make sure that in the notes that you'll get in the recap of this email of how you can enter to win that giveaway. All right, John, if you're ready, we're ready.
All right. Thank you, Heather. Thanks, y'all, for being here for the live recording. Again, we will also gather any specific questions that we don't cover, and there's going to be an FAQ at the end. So you sharing questions is very powerful. So thank you for that. And here we go. In this session, we're going to be talking about the 5 YouTube profit tests. And here's what I want you to do. As we learn about each of these tests, I want you to score each one from 1 to 10. 1 would mean, I'm kind of flunking out on that test. That one is not very good. 10 means that's dialed in. That is very true about the niche I've selected. And I want to challenge you as you're running some of your passions and your ideas through this. What we're leading towards is clarity on not just what will be a high impact YouTube channel, but also a high profit YouTube channel. And so you have to make the hard decision to say, I'm not really sure. Just do the math. Like quite literally score this with as sober and just use your gut. Go fast and say, yeah, it's kind of a 5 out of 10, or that's a 10 out of 10. And so let's dive into the test and then we'll recap at the end. Here they are. The first is the pain test. The pain test. One of the things you want to define on your channel is what problem do you solve? And the pain test asks, how urgent, though, is this problem? You know, if you are lifting boxes at your house and all of a sudden you pull something in your back, that becomes a very urgent problem. It might be ambulance time. It might be WebMD time. I got to figure out what's wrong immediately. Now, there also might be another, a lot of times the urgency of the problem of maybe not eating quite right and just slowly gaining a pound a month over 10 years, 12 pounds a year over 10 years, that compounds to what, 120 pounds. But it's so slow, it's a little less urgent until you find yourself one day, and then maybe you want a turnaround in the area of health. So here's some questions for the pain test in your niche. How urgent is the problem? The bigger and more urgent the problem, the more time and money people will invest to solve it. The biggest and most painful and urgent problems that people are having, what is the biggest, the most painful and the most urgent problem that people are having that they can solve? Now, of course, this might be stretching you a little bit at first, and it seems obvious and linear when I think of one of our VRA students, Dr. Andrea, who actually quite literally addresses chronic pain. She's getting millions of views because chronic pain is something that is an urgent problem that people want to solve. So they're searching YouTube, they're looking for answers. The good news about the pain test is, listen, If you flunk out on any of these tests, I'm not saying you shouldn't make your channel around that niche. I'm just suggesting the closer you get to 50, the more likely you're going to have wind in your sails towards success. See, if I'm going to go to Florida regardless, I want to pick a vehicle that's going to get me there the fastest and that has the most likely guarantee that I'm even going to make it. If I walk, I might freeze. If I fly, I'm going to be there in 6 hours. The more pain there is associated with the problem your YouTube channel has, the better, especially related to profit. We're talking about the profit P, the potential for making money from your channel. And so we're asking, are people actively looking for solutions to the problems associated with your niche? And John Lee Dumas said it this way: people always buy aspirin. They buy vitamins only occasionally and at unprecedented times. So sell aspirin. That's the pain test. Where do you score on a scale from 1 to 10? Okay. Second test, the growth test. Is this market growing or shrinking? Does this niche have a growing demand? Is there a big enough market for my financial goals? And am I able to reach my target audience in this market easily? So if you were to open a business for renting VHS tapes and you put that business idea through the growth test, it would be clear that it's actually not a growing market. It's a shrinking market. It's almost a dying market. Now, of course, you get super niche. And I heard that the original still packaged Star Wars VHS tape with the shrink wrap on the outside of it was sold for like $20,000. Of course, there's going to be collectors, and there's even opportunities on YouTube for very specific things, but you got to do your research. But here's the thing. Blockbuster went bankrupt. Netflix is on the rise. It's a growing demand of online streaming content. On a scale from 1 to 10, and even using some of the tools we shared, do you think this niche that you want to be in is going to be more in demand in 3 years or less? And if you're in a niche that has explosive growth, this is what I've learned. It'll make people who don't even have a very high level of proficiency wildly successful. Meanwhile, while some of the most talented experts in the wrong niche will struggle. They'll work twice as hard for half the results, because if you're in a growing market, you will have wind in your sails, and a lot of people, you might go, oh, there's competition, there's other people starting. If the market's big enough and growing fast enough, then 100 YouTube channels can flourish because there's so much demand and there's increasing demand. So where does your current niche score on a scale from 1 to 10? Does it have growing demand? Well, Sean, is there ways to research this? Sure. But even just think about your intuition. You might say, this feels like this is on its way out. You might go, this. And by the way, we're not even talking about YouTube itself, but my niche is YouTube. So if I put this through that framework and that test, the pain test of YouTube, it's not 10, because it's hard work to start a YouTube channel. So if you're really passionate about it, your pain test might be, I tried, I'm not growing, I need help. Sean, I'm searching for help. I started, the pain is pretty high when it's like, I've uploaded 100 videos, they're not working. Okay, so then the pain's higher. But YouTube in and of itself is not as close to pain as far as like, I'm single, I'm ready to mingle, I want to get married. It's been 10 years. I'm looking for answers. This pain is off the charts. And even more so, literally, I'm experiencing physical pain, or I'm in so much debt and I'm trying to get out. Those would be higher on the pain test. If I put YouTube, though, I help people build their influence on YouTube through the growth test with total confidence. And what the data is showing is this next decade is going to be the best decade on YouTube. YouTube has so much market dominance. It's growing. More people want to be creators. More people are watching. More baby boomers and Gen X, it's the fastest growing demographic, are creators and wanting to watch. Audiences are growing. So I go, okay, even if that wasn't true, I might not make a major pivot, because here we are with Think Media and we're pretty far along, but I'm just putting it through the growth test. And I'm very optimistic because I go, thank God that Who knows, in 10 years where it's going to be. We might be in little floaty Wally cars, sipping a soda, metaverse. I don't know what's happening then, but I know I go, can I look down the road 3 years? Looks great. 5 years? Looks great. 8? Man, the world moves pretty fast, but I'm confident in the 10 years of my particular niche. You still might say, I don't know if this niche is even growing, or it also might be stagnant. It's a 3. That's okay. We're just scoring ourselves in every niche. You still might want to do it, but I want you informed. And I told you I was going to mess with your business and mess up your whole plan, because we're only on test number 2. So here's the next one: the human desires test. Your YouTube channel is most powerfully positioned when it is in one of the 3 core markets of proven online businesses. And so these are the 3 core markets of the most proven, profitable businesses that have longevity and YouTube channels. So it's health. And what does health mean? Beauty. Because when we say humans desires test, how many people care about wanting to look good, feel good, show up to the party, put on makeup? How big is that market? Massive, right? So you're like, okay, so it's a big enough market. How about fitness? People want to lose weight. They want to gain muscle. How about meditation that taps into anxiety or how much stress is in culture? No stress, sleep, anti-aging, feel good, energy, food, like eating healthy food or eating food that gives me joy or gives me delight, desserts, but like feel confident. Excuse me. We cut out that awful burp. Feel confident. Okay, the next one is wealth. Make money, save money, retirement, real estate, online business, advance in your career. Here's what we're tapping into. We're tapping into core human desires that guarantees there will not just be a market today, but there'll be a market tomorrow. People will always want to make money. They will always need to save money. They'll always want to get out of debt. They'll always be going into retirement. They'll always want a place to live. They'll always want to start an online business or a side hustle. They'll always want to advance in their career, right? So these are the core markets. Relationships, get married, bounce back from divorce, parenting, resolve conflict in relationships. You go niche, learn how to lead a team, I was promoted, learn how to operate as a boss now, how to be a manager, how to do all these kinds of things. So you might go, well, crap. I mean, what about gaming on YouTube? Now, here's the truth. There can be a lot of successful opportunities on YouTube because of ad revenue and because of entertaining content. If you can build an audience around anything and viewership around anything, then you can make ad revenue. But there's a couple questions you need to ask. Where's this all going? And am I tapping into something that is not just going to be 15 minutes of fame, but something that's going to have real lasting power? Do you have to absolutely be in one of these 3 core markets? I'm not saying that you do. Maybe the pain test of somebody who desperately wants to finish a level in their game is really high when they're frustrated by a certain boss. Therefore, making that specific YouTube video on your gaming channel could get a lot of views. Plus, there's esports. I want to be a professional esports player, which is actually a money-making thing, right? And it's even something that'll bring me confidence, or it's an aspirational career of mine, potentially. Okay, fine. But ultimately, these entertainment type of niches don't necessarily tap into as much commerce, but there's always opportunity, merch, crowdfunding, etc. But here's a couple things to think, and I want you to write this down as a separate insight to growing your YouTube channel, thinking about your future videos, and thinking about your YouTube business model. The 3 core markets should or could influence your niche. And again, remember, you might be a 1 on this. You're like, they're just not that. They're not. It is growing. It's growing at 10. Pain's also a lot of people are wanting to watch this, or they're very ambitious for this, or it's just very popular. So you go, pain's a 4, growth is a 10. So your score is pretty good, but maybe it's a 1 on this. But watch this. No matter what you do, friend, really hear me. You need to use this in your marketing. always tie your content that you create into how it will benefit these areas. You know, sometimes the reason I want to be the best is I aspire for excellence and greatness, maybe as an esports player, if we just use the gaming analogy. But what we really want, core human desires, we want affirmation from peers around us. So if it can type, like if you also were, again, not a gaming channel, but a gaming coach, you could use in your marketing, I'm going to teach you how to make money from gaming. I'm going to teach you what is it going to feel like when you have the confidence and affirmation of those around you because you've sharpened your skills in this particular area. If you can tie that in you, whatever you do on YouTube into that, it's going to help people have less stress. It's going to help people feel better, feel more confident, or feel good. Then you're tapping into health because these are core human desires. So all I'm saying is if you think about a powerful YouTube niche, wouldn't it be related to what humans desire the most? We want to feel good, feel energy, right? And so if anything we do ties into that, then there's just more of an assurance, right? That there's a future potential for our niche. And here's 3 power-ups for the human desires. How can you save people time? If ultimately you can even just save people time on your YouTube channel, because it's something we all value, health-wise, we know it's limited. We're not going to live forever. And so how can you save people time? How can you help them get to a result quicker? So in some cases, even if you're doing entertainment, if you say my channel consolidates the news, like my friend Erica from The Noteworthy does, she's like everything you need to know in 5 minutes or less. So is the news help you in your health? Maybe not. Is it going to make you wealth? Maybe if it influences it. Is it really going to help you in a relationship? No. But can you save people time by maybe consolidating so much different information and contextualizing something in entertainment? If you can save people time on your YouTube channel, that kind of content will attract viewers. And if you can be, if one of the promises of your channel is related to helping people save time. So what am I helping you do? I'm trying to help you get to full-time faster on YouTube, get results on YouTube faster. Why are you going through this course, the Niche Finder? Even in the time you're investing in this very program, is time well spent? Because I can shave years of you wandering in the desert if you follow these frameworks, which is tied to saving you time. And as a YouTube coach, like not only now I don't do health, but in my marketing, I talk about you're going to have more peace of mind and more confidence when you have a YouTube channel that you're proud of. So you can actually see how this is modeled. Ultimately, a YouTube channel that makes money. And how powerful would it be to build a network of relationships, whether that, and, you know, as a part of this course, if you're only a part of this course, you don't have access to our private Video Ranking Academy Facebook group, but there is also a place of community where there can be strong relationships of like-minded people that want to build their YouTube channels, be YouTube entrepreneurs, etc. So that's me tying into the 3. And think about on your channel, how can you make people money? If your channel makes people money and it tells them ways of making money, you're in a good niche. I'm not saying you have to be in that niche. I'm just saying it makes sense, doesn't it? Because people want money. Can you help people learn a new skill? Huge. And, you know, Susan, the CEO of YouTube, like we saw this on YouTube. Is there massive entertainment content? That is great. There's things you can do in that. Is there kids content and things like that? Yes. Amazing opportunities on YouTube. But one of the biggest niches on YouTube is helping people learn skills. And the powerful thing about helping people learn skills is not only is it searched, not only is it very utility, not only is it very practical, but again, on your Niche Finder download tool that has the channel ideas, one of the areas on that tool is just 10 kind of starter ideas for even online courses. And again, I'm not trying to say you need to create an online course, but I'm just saying it is our favorite business model at Think Media, because people are very much looking to YouTube. 75% of people are wanting to solve a problem, and many of them are trying to learn a skill. We're locked down. We've learned we can learn skills. Like what? I don't need a guitar teacher. I literally can watch YouTube videos and then eventually buy Lauren Bateman's course. My mom used to pay my guitar teacher $50 a session. If I buy Lauren Bateman's course, it's 4 sessions. And I can go through that. Of course, I'm maybe not getting the feedback, but then I can hire her for coaching on Zoom. Like, we're living in the new era. So you don't have to do any of these tests, but these will power up your niche as you think through these questions. Number 4, are others successfully monetizing the niche, regardless of the business model? The money test. Now, you don't know how much money people are necessarily making, but again, do a flyover. Part of your homework is asking, what are 5 to 10 channels in this niche or something similar to the niche I want to be in? And does it look like, can I discern that they're successfully monetizing? If so, then this is an 8. If I can't really prove that, then it's either a question mark or it's a 3. And remember, competition is a good thing, because if others are successfully monetizing, it's like saying, are others in the physical world, in business, is there any successful restaurants? Yeah. Can we open other successful restaurants? Yeah. Do people eat food? They do. So is competition? Now, does that mean that it's just, it just guarantees success? No, you got to put in the work and hustle through and follow and complete this course, because we're going to power up your niche. These are just tests to give us direction as a framework up front. So competition is a good thing. If it's a verifiable human desire that is not going anywhere, people want food, people want relationships, people want connection with other humans, people need money, people want to feel good, they want health. If it's tied to those things, then we're good, right? Is there proven business models in this niche? And how much are people earning in this niche? If you can discern that, Google, spend some time on Google News, read some articles, literally Google the industry, Google the niche. Every once in a while you might Google and you see Business Insider or Forbes will do an article, or whoever, or Tube Filter will do an article about a gaming channel or an entertainment channel, or Forbes will do it. Business Insider does all kinds of articles about YouTube creators that are earning money in different ways. And a lot of times it'll just give you kind of data points on how much people are earning. We talked about that actually on our Think Media podcast in a report that we learned from The Tilt. And they went deeply into how much content entrepreneurs, basically YouTube entrepreneurs, are earning. And so if you can pass all these tests, then you also can pass the money test to say, okay, if I could, you could set clear goals here. Wow, it looks like some channels that have 5 or 10,000 subscribers are earning 50K a year and beyond. Like, okay, cool. I loosely see that this is like a 9, and that's good for me. And then finally, the longevity test. We kind of touched on this with the growth test, but here's the question. Will this niche be here in 3 to 5 years? And how long will this problem be a problem? Now, you might be mad at me, but I hope it's a good mad, because if I just, disrupted your party, ignorance is not bliss. You may say, man, this is a short-term trend. And you may say, which is very legitimate, and it's worth riding the wave, this might not be very long. See, this is what happens to YouTube creators. It's kind of funny. E-commerce businesses, you remember fidget spinners, right? They were everywhere. Not only that, in a lot of entertainment channels, people selling their own, getting millions of views from them all across YouTube. Fidget spinners were major. And it was e-commerce drop shipping businesses popped up like crazy. And people were making insane amounts of money for fidget spinners for like 8 months, right? Like the peak of it. Remember the hoverboards? Maybe you still have one at your house, or your kids have it. You stand on it and you go around on the wheels. Those things cost a lot of money, and some of them lit on fire. You didn't know what quality you're getting. And now it's probably just in like your garage and you forgot you even have one. Those were a whole trend. And connected to the business, first thing, naming your YouTube channel Fidget Spinner Central doesn't pass the longevity test, probably. Like maybe you didn't know, like maybe if you did that, you thought, right? But But on the flip side, it also doesn't mean you can't talk about trending things underneath a bigger brand. But the longevity test would reveal, okay, does this have a chance to be around not just today, but tomorrow? And if it doesn't, or if I'm also unsure, just not very confident, at least I'm making an informed decision onto what I'm building on. Because again, the point of this course is to help you get a clear, solid foundation and brick by brick build up a lifestyle business through YouTube that helps you achieve your ideal future. So your ambition might be to build a media company like Think Media's, meaning you're like, I actually really want to build something big. Well, then having a high score on these 5 tests would be important. You also might say, I kind of want to just crush it and experiment with something for a couple of years. I'm not sure that the longevity test it doesn't really pass that, but I know it's hot right now. I'm going to keep going when it comes to this topic. And so will this be around in 3 to 5 years? And how long will this problem be a problem? And here's the kind of interesting thing, and this is the exciting thing about the world we're in, is there will always be new problems. And some of yesterday's solutions become today's problems. So this is a video on how to deal with technology addiction on the Headspace channel, which is actually an app for meditation, because what once solved a problem, our smartphones and technology, has now become a problem. So there's always new opportunities to start new YouTube channels to solve even new problems. So we might not have even known 10 years ago, like if you were to start a channel on peace of mind, how to master technology, how to get off technology, the extremes away from, that actually, and then you start saying is there going to be a whole group of high pain where people go, my attention span's shot. I got weird dopamine addiction stuff. My quality of life is just terrible. I'm looking for guidance with technology addiction. Is that growing? It's going to grow because we're seeing the flip side of it. So like that continues to grow, right? Is there the money test in it? Well, yeah, people will pay, they will pay money to help them with the problems, the technology they paid money for. And we buy new apps to organize the chaos of our other apps. But like, this is the power of YouTube entrepreneurship and entrepreneurship in general. Entrepreneurs solve problems for a profit. So when we look at these 5 profit tests, this helps us scope out opportunities in the landscape that maybe could be at the intersection of things we know now or things we're leaning into and things we're learning. And so good news is that there will always be new problems. And as we go deeper and as we go further in this course, we're going to actually be honing in on the specific problem and realizing that your way of niching down and standing out is actually in the nuance of which you approach the problem itself. So here we go. Score each of these 5 tests from 1 to 10. The closer to 50, the better. Sean, I don't, but I do this thing and I got like a 5. Can I still do my channel on that? You can do whatever you want. These are just 5, I think you see, very powerful profit tests. Sean, I kind of want to lead more towards just, a hobby. Well, if you're here and that's what you're watching, good. At least you know that they didn't really score good on the test, but it is something I love and I have endless passion for it. So I'm just going to keep going and I'm going to keep doing it. And so score yourself on 1 to 10 of each of these tests. And then coming up in the next session, we're actually going to be learning the secret to standing out in a crowded market. And so stick with me and I will see you in the next session.
Wow, Sean. Wow. Oh my goodness. Are you guys loving the YouTube niche finder training? I'm over here taking notes at the same time. As he was asking those questions, I was thinking even just more and more about, the channels that you have and the questions that you were asking, and a couple comments that I just want to just acknowledge, which were so awesome. where the comments like destination freedom. I love how much this course is giving me confirmation on the path I'm on. Destination freedom. So excited that you are here. Thank you so much for that comment. And I had another comment come in saying save time, save money, learn. Boom. That went on the cork board. That makes me so happy. I'm a cork board person as well. But if you are loving this training, don't worry, you're going to, and you want to watch it again, you're going to have access to this training inside of your members area very soon. So if you're just joining us right now, because I see the numbers are bouncing around, we want to welcome you to the behind the scenes of the YouTube Niche Finder training. And this is you getting to watch us produce content in real time. We're producing this course in real time for you, so you get instant access and first access to all of this training. And isn't Sean just doing such a good job? Evan Dido, this is really good. Wish I tuned in earlier. Don't worry, Evan, you'll have access to this. Let us know. I want to know what your aha moment so far has been. So post that in the comments if you're watching live. And if you're watching on the watch page and you would like to be able to comment and talk to other people who are watching, all you have to do is click on the video where it says YouTube in the bottom bottom right hand corner. If you're looking at your page, it's the bottom right hand corner, YouTube. You can click that. It'll take you to the unlisted YouTube link. And then in there is where you can chat with us with your YouTube profile. That's where we'll be able to that's where we're going to be able to chat with you. I see that Daisy's in there, and then Wendy, who's one of our moderators from Video Ranking Academy, is in there. So our team is in and out of that space, but it's a great place for you guys to be having conversations about this course. Now, here's what's going to happen. We're going to walk through maybe one or two more sessions, but I want to let you know that if you have not already claimed your ticket to Grow with Video Live. Maybe you are ready to purchase a ticket, or you need to claim your ticket. Right now, for Video Ranking Academy members, we have $100 off of the Grow with Video Live experience. We have 3 different experiences for you to choose from. And so you can go and get access to either the general admission or the VIP with that discount. And if you'd like to upgrade to the Platinum experience, you can get on the phone with our customer service team, and they can help you if that is the right decision for your business for this year. So you can go, we've got the special link. Use the link in the description. So Daisy's going to make sure that's in the comments for you. That is a special link just for you. So please don't give that out to other people. It's only for you. And if you would like to bring a spouse or a business partner, you can also give them that discount code as one code that you can use together. So I'm excited. We're going to get into one more session, and then I think we're going to take a lunch break, and I'll give you more details before that happens. But Shawnee, you ready to go?
Fired up. Thank you. Thank you, Heather. Thanks everyone for being here. And let's keep it moving. All right. Welcome back to YouTube Niche Finder. In this session, we're going to talk about how to stand out in a crowded niche with the Start With Why framework. But I just want to acknowledge you for sticking with this course and making it to this session. And the goal of this course is to kind of have like layers of clarity. We're not even through all the frameworks, and you might already feel like you have a lot of clarity, but like this is sharpening it down, making it even sharper so you can cut through the noise even more, adding on nuances, plus finding tools to help give us even video ideas, things we could talk about, maybe a business model you haven't considered in your niche. And one of the things we're going to start to unpack is how even still we may have narrowed down a niche a little bit, but how do we really stand out amongst the competition and get our own unfair advantage? How do we find our difference in the sea of sameness? Well, in this session in particular, we're really going to discover a powerful way to do that. And this is called the Start With Why framework. And so what you could do is tap into your workbook, or you could draw this out on a piece of paper and draw your kind of target with 3 circles. Now, this is inspired from a book by Simon Sinek called Start With Why. And certainly a book you could read, but I'd recommend watching even the TED Talk. But we're going to cover kind of the big idea right now and see how powerful this is in finding our difference. But the first thing you're going to watch at the outside of the circle, or want to write, is at the outside of the circle is what? What is it you do? What is your channel about? Okay. So by this point, we found the intersection of the three P's. And so, what is it your channel does? This is the most shallow way of trying to stand out on YouTube, because chances are there's tens, hundreds, multiple hundreds of other channels doing what you do. Like, and here you would say, so are you entertainment or are you education? What problem do you solve? You know, what do you do? I play Fortnite. What do you do? I give DIY physical therapy and self massage tutorials. I help people with chronic pain. What do you do? Like, I think about in the business arena, I think about in that what category of like Starbucks. What does Starbucks do? Coffee. Not that great as far as niching down. Now it is really niche down. That's actually quite a bit of it. They've eliminated. They don't do, Chinese food. So like we have some clarity here. They're not a construction company, like so the what is narrow, but it also is like, but a lot of people do coffee. I could get coffee at McDonald's. I could get coffee at Pete's Coffee. I could get coffee all kinds of places. So what is it you do? Now, let's go deeper. And this is how we start tapping into our difference. How is it you do it? This gets exciting, because even if you go this deep, you can already start to really have some distinction from competitors. So here's some questions. What's unique about your personality? What's your process and how is it different from others? One of the things that I've created in terms of, we teach people YouTube at Think Media, but one of the things I created is what is known as our 7R VRA framework. This is actually a process. It is intellectual property. It is IP of a particular way of approaching YouTube. Here's the truth. It's not the only way to approach YouTube. As you're learning in this course, we're not really asking you to become Mr. Beast. You could try to be Mr. Beast. If you have clarity on that, that's great. But where I see the most practical opportunity for us as everyday creators for building highly profitable businesses is running it through Niche Finder, is making sure that we are in niches that are search-based and intent-based. Is there opportunities from an entertainment perspective? Yes. But I think that actually even we lean towards really helping people that want to teach people something, because of the business opportunity that's also related to that, and the practical opportunity that's related to that. So you're not a trend for 2 years and then you don't know what to do next. So that is different, because there's other YouTube coaches. But not only that, how do you do it? And so you've maybe gotten to know me, whether we just met or whether you've maybe seen me on Think Media or our podcast. So my personality is different than others. I sometimes talk fast. I'm sometimes pretty caffeinated, right? I sometimes am kind of cynical or dry or kind of sarcastic sounding, or people don't know how to read it because it's kind of how my personality is wired. What's unique about your personality? I got a lot of blind spots in my life and relationships because I'm an only child. And if you ever read a book about the birth order, I eventually had step siblings. But when I first met my wife, and even when we were dating, we had a lot of weird problems because I just was so in my own world. I never had siblings. I just abandoned her once with my parents and just went and did my own thing. And she was like shocked. And I was like, what's wrong? I mean, it was a blind spot. My own personality. Like, I got issues. Like, I don't know. And so what is unique about how you do it? If you think about Starbucks, like how they do it, it's consistent, but also they invest a lot into the store, into the experience. The interior design of Starbucks is different than Dunkin' Donuts. The experience, the culture, the art, the flow of the very building itself is different than McDonald's. So how you do what you do is a massive opportunity. Is there a certain music and style? In some cases with our content, I'm heavily influenced growing up skateboarding and snowboarding by snowboard videos, by skateboard videos. I grew up listening to underground hip hop. I grew up listening to kind of indie rock in Seattle, Alice in Chains, grunge rock, Nirvana, all this kind of stuff. These things shaped my personality, shaped different details about me that could be woven in potentially to your content. So here's what becomes interesting is when it comes to picking your niche, your vibe is going to attract your tribe, your 1,000 true fans and beyond. The problem people make is they just can be too focused on the what, and they don't amplify these how opportunities. Again, I'm so passionate about my process on YouTube because I know it works and I know it works over the long haul. So I amplify that. It's different than other people's approach. So what is unique about your approach and your point of view of the problem you solve? So let's think about Chick-fil-A, for example, just as another restaurant analogy. What do? Chicken. Does anybody else do chicken? Yeah, Popeyes does. Kentucky Fried Chicken does. So they do chicken. How do they do it? Well, it's good chicken. And they really focus on good customer service. Like it's their pleasure. And so their how, it's their pleasure. It's a little bit different. So what's your how, and how can you amplify it? If you study the other channels in your niche, do they seem irreverent? Do they seem very educational and very professional? Are you more like scholarly? Are you more talk for the everyday woman, everyday man kind of a language? Are you more able to relate with the younger generation, or do you relate more with another generation? It's a how. A lot of people cover personal finance. They do it differently, though. They also have a different how of how to get to the results. One of my favorite ways to think about this: what does Dave Ramsey do? Personal finance. What does Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, do? Personal finance. How do they do it? Entirely different. Dave Ramsey wants you to cut up your credit cards and never take on debt unless it's a home mortgage and only a 15-year home mortgage. And if you don't do it, he'll yell at you. Robert Kiyosaki, on the other hand, wants you to leverage every possible dollar you can. He wants you to take on a lot of debt. Oddly enough, and not saying him, but one of his trainers at an event once literally told me to buy mobile homes and pulled out a stack of credit cards with the rubber band around them. He's like, this is how you're going to do it. And I was like, that's a little sketch, dog. It's a different how. By the way, two things, like, does Dave Ramsey wants you to do real estate? Yep. Does Robert Kiyosaki want you to? Yeah. The how they go about the thing. So as we're niche findering down, what is your what? But then how can you be different? How do you, their point of view and approach on the problem, different. There's different paths we can take to get to a certain destination. And what is yours that you can tap in to make your channel unique? A lot of people watching YouTube. A lot of people want coffee and they don't want Starbucks. I'm one of them. I do want coffee, but I am in an alliance with Omar El Takori on the Think Media team. We believe in real, single origin, ethically sourced, Ethiopia, usually based notes of citrus fruit, brewing methods. Like you'd probably think I'm a coffee snob, and if the shoe fits, I'll wear it. In terms of, if I won't use tap water in making my coffee. Are you kidding me? I'm offended. So I've got my brewing methods. I've got a burr grinder. Friend, my grinder was like $300. Like, I get it. I mean, it's a different how. And Starbucks is burnt. It's not good. I can find some drinks there. Like if I really got to put that espresso in some almond milk and I don't even like sugar. I'm going to throw some sugar at it just to make, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to fight. Okay. Don't take this personally. You might not even drink coffee. here's the point. Different hows connect also with different people. So the market is proven what? If we could find a good market, a lot of people drink coffee. How we do it can be more gravitating. Omar and I are going to go to Mothership Coffee in Las Vegas. Sonia and Heather, they're going to Starbucks. And I mean, do we just kind of dishonor and disrespect them for that? Sure we do. I mean, do we talk about it behind their back? Of course. You know, in fact, Heather Torres on the Think Media team drinks Keurig, which is embarrassing. I mean, honestly, because if you know, Kyle and I were asking when it comes to Keurig coffee. I'm just kidding too, by the way. These are jokes, not about the Keurig. And yes, it is. It's, you know, you can ask her about it later. But ultimately, Kyle and I are like, when we think about these Keurigs, first of all, the environmental impact, which is not we're not like saintly, like that's not our main motivation, but you got to think about it, where all these pods go. Secondly, though, is when were these beans even picked? And when were they roasted? A year and a half ago? 2 years ago? And then they're ground, which you only grind your coffee right before you brew it. Like, people ask me at the store, do you want the coffee ground? Are you kidding me? You have to grind it right before, like, you know, and I need whole bean, you know, hey, I got you a bag of, I'm sorry. Don't ever buy me a gift. I know that I didn't expect this course, but I hope you're seeing what I want you to feel out of this conversation is even as I make jokes, I want you to really, we're going to eventually get into the person and the nuance of how passionate audiences can be about details. And the more clear you are on who you're for and how you do it and who that connects with. Robert Kiyosaki has a very passionate fan base. So does Rich Dad Poor Dad. So does Dave Ramsey. Not one person is right or wrong. By the way, I'm sure you're probably a Keurig drinker. That's fine. I get it. It's convenient. It's fast. It's totally fine. But how long have those beans been in the pot? Right. And so now it's 1 year, year and a half, 2 years. And then you just throw some tap water in your Keurig. Meanwhile, I'm grinding the beans only before perfect water. I've pushed the analogy a little too far, but what you're getting here is difference in how. What is unique about your approach and your point of view on the problem? My friend, if you just stay at this level, you can boost your success on YouTube. Because now people that are like-minded or that also can connect with your point of view that say, I agree. I like, only whole bean brewed right before with the perfect brew temperature. I have a kettle for the perfect brew temperature. That is the only thing, only the whole art and culture of coffee. And then there's a whole nother group that's just as passionate. Sean, you are insane. You're a coffee snob. You're rude. I'm offended. And like, I got stuff to do, dude. It's not that big of a deal. Great. Whether you're Dave Ramsey or Robert Kiyosaki, please just be somebody. Please take a stand and have a point of view. Really figure out how your approach is different, and you're going to have more success because 1,000 true fans might not like you, but 1,000 true fans that connect with your point of view will fall in love with you. And that's where the opportunity is. But we're not even at the deepest level, because at the deepest level here is your why. Your why. And this is why we said you can stand out from the crowd with this framework. It's not just what you do. It's not just how you do it, but it's why you do it. So let me ask you some questions. What's the bigger purpose and mission of your channel? What are your highest values? Why does this matter to you? Like the niche you're in. Like, why does it matter to you? Brainstorm around that. Like, it matters because, you know, my family and growing up, I would do construction projects with my dad, and I just found the therapy in it. And so that's why I want to encourage others to embrace DIY and learning how to use tools and do like what's kind of the story around it? Why does it matter to you? And also, who is the enemy or nemesis of your mission? Dave Ramsey's enemy is debt. And Dave Ramsey's enemy actually is Robert. He is anybody who would recommend someone get in debt. He's picked a fight. It has been very effective for him. he's not trying to just go out and worry about those other people, but he makes such a clear stance that it actually polarizes who you're for and who you're against. A lot of creators are afraid to do it. And it's sometimes why they stay stuck and they don't reach to the heights of YouTube success that are waiting for you on the other side of getting clear on your why and then not being afraid to share it. Who is the enemy or nemesis of your mission? Earlier, we met Ben Azadi from Keto Camp, and he helps people, of course, lose weight through intermittent fasting, get healthy. But when you talk to him, his mission is to help 1 billion people be educated about health. His dad passed away from diabetes, and it was preventable. And so his life experience triggered a powerful why. That's also the fuel and passion that gives him endless curiosity for studying, learning, finding answers when it comes to health. That is proficiency because, watch, the compound interest of curiosity is knowledge. So when you know you're this passionate about it and you've got enough fire burning, I didn't always know YouTube marketing. Once 10 years ago, when my wife almost died in 2009, and I started realizing I want to figure out how to make money online, YouTube was one vehicle, and I'd already been doing video. I said, I'm going to learn everything about YouTube. And I'm going to study it. And the curiosity goes deep enough that I'm going to study every single thing about it. I'm going to buy courses. I'm going to go deep in this because I had a why driving me, which was one, to provide for my family. And so what is your why? What are some of your highest values? And why does this matter to you as far as the niche you're in? What's the bigger purpose of your channel? Here's the truth. People follow people with shared beliefs, and people connect with people with similar values. And when it comes to Chick-fil-A, for example, right? We talked about this. They're what? Chicken. They're how? Different. Like, it's good chicken. You got that Polynesian sauce, whatever. You got the good. What's your favorite Chick-fil-A sauce, right? You got but listen to their why. And you can see some of it. One, they're closed on Sundays. To a lot of their fans, kind of frustrated, but their fans love it because it speaks to their conservative values and taking a day of rest even for their team and their workers. But listen to their vision statement: to glorify God by being a faithful steward of all that's entrusted to us, to have a positive influence on all who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. Now, some people hate Chick-fil-A. People that are really anti-conservative values, like don't even they're mad. They're mad that they would include God in their own mission and their own vision. Chick-fil-A is doing great. And it doesn't matter that someone's mad. And your breakthrough on YouTube could be you embracing the idea that you don't have to be liked by everyone. In fact, greatness is waiting for you on the other side of not needing to be liked by everyone. Because all I know is that their drive-through has the 2 paths, not even the one. It's got the 2 paths with the little microphone thing. And there's always, especially up in Marysville, by the one that's by our place up there, there's always a line to the street because they have a strong why on top of course, you've got to be good at your what. Your how matters, but your why is what people connect with. And that's how you build a brand. That's how you stand out. And listen, there's other places, Starbucks why is to inspire and nurture the human spirit, 1 cup, 1 person, and 1 neighborhood at a time. They're trying to create a third place that actually realizes coffee creates a place of connection. And I will admit, and all of the jokes earlier, that Starbucks is one of my favorite places. I like buying the green juice out of I like being able to stop there. I like meeting people there. They have not just created coffee, they have created community. It's one of their values, a third place. We want you to have some place where you could get Wi-Fi that's dependable. It's a whole thing around that. Some places like, we'll give you some coffee, dude. Like, they've got a whole nother thing, and it's coming out of their why. What are your beliefs? And what are your values? And ultimately, you go, everybody else is doing what I'm doing. Probably not with your same beliefs, I guarantee you, and not with your same values. And you're not everybody's cup of tea. This does not need to be political, but it actually is a really good thing to lean into. A lot of times people galvanize or rather gravitate towards maybe a more liberal perspective, maybe a more conservative perspective, maybe a more independent perspective, maybe a more kingdom perspective. Like they might have. And so as you share some of those things, it becomes an opportunity for people really to connect with you and for your channel to grow. Now, am I saying this has to be in the name of your channel? Am I saying that this actually has to be woven into your video ideas, or you need to take 10 minutes before you get into the cooking tutorial to share this stuff? I'm not saying that, but I am saying that when you're clear about this, when you weave in details about this here and there on your about page or wherever, and when it seeps through your content, because listen, you're actually just being you. You're living what matters to you. You're living your bigger purpose. You're living those types of things. You're living what you're truly passionate about. Friends, people will gravitate towards you, and you have more success than you ever thought possible. Chris Ducker says, attract the best and repel the rest. When you're clear on this, on your what, how, and your why, and all three matter. What's your what? How is it you do the what? And why do you do the what? When you are clear on this, don't be afraid for everyone. Don't be afraid of the negative comments. Don't be afraid. You do not need people's approval. You do not need people's permission. You do not need people's acceptance. You need to be you. And when you repel the rest, because you're so clear on what your why is, you will actually attract the best. And you only need 1,000 true fans. That's just a really proven principle. Again, it might be 1,200 or it might be 500 because of like your business model. You can see what I'm saying? You find that niche connected to your why, then you are going to have incredible results. And so to recap what we've covered so far, we've covered the 3P framework, how to research a niche and a niche market. We've covered the start with why framework and the 5 profit tests. But coming up, we're going to learn about the promised land waiting for you on the other side of the valley of focus. I'm sure you've learned a lot so far. Maybe your mind's racing with ideas, but stick with me in this course because there is so much more to cover. And we're just going to dial in these details even more so you can be like a laser when it comes to the focus of your channel, the profit of your channel, the impact you want to make, the people you want to serve. So I can't wait to see you in the next session.
Wow, Sean, that was such a great session. I always get so fired up when you start talking about who do we attract and who do we repel. And just even from my own background, I'm a people pleaser. So it's hard for me to say I'm not for everyone, but I can tell you that the more and more that I have gone into these practices as we've developed who we are for and who we are against, it has really helped to attract people just like you to what our mission is here at Think Media, to what we are doing here in the world. And so I really hope that you take that and run with it. Now, there was a question that came in, Sean, that I would love to get answered inside of the course itself. And that would be this one here, because it's back to the 1,000 true fans. So we can actually put this into one of the other, one of the previous sessions. But I thought this was an interesting question of how many subs to get to 1,000 true fans. And this was a repeated ask. And so the idea of subscribers versus 1,000 true fans and kind of how you view those things. So is it a certain number or what does that look like for you?
Great. And yeah, I don't know if it'll fit in between the 5, but I think we could throw it in the FAQ section at the end, and I'll answer it right now.
Okay.
And I'm just looking ahead really quick. I want to make sure. Yeah, let's hit it. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
All right. So a question came in. 3, 2. So a question came in relation to how many subscribers do I need in order to truly reach the 1,000 true fans level on my channel? And a couple of thoughts about that. Typically, some metrics in the online marketing industry is that a lot of times you will generate a sale on a product at a 1 to 2% rate of how many people you reach. So that actually makes the numbers pretty big, right? That means that like if you had 50,000 subscribers, and again, whether it's everybody that wants to buy the hoodie, everybody that wants to buy the journal, everybody that wants to buy your online course, and or somebody that wants to sign up to do business with you, if you had 50,000 subscribers, 2% of them were super fans. That means like they really want what you have, whatever that is. Then, and it was like $100 product, then that'd be $100,000 a year. Here's the opportunity though, is it really matters what the business model is, because a lot of our Video Ranking Academy students, for example, already are real estate agents or financial analysts, or rather retirement planners. So maybe they only need 1 or 2 clients a month coming into their business, or like 10 total clients a year from YouTube. So they don't actually need that 1,000 true fans number, if that makes sense. So it's kind of just a guideline. And another way to put it is that's assuming, again, to $100,000, how much money do you actually need to meet? We all want $100,000, but how much money do you actually need? Reverse engineer that. If you had $1,000 product, right? You'd only need 100 people, not 1,000 people, to take action on that, say every year. And that would lead to that math as well. And so the final thing I would say is that even though on wide internet marketing, that's typically related to like campaigns that you would run through advertising, that you'd have maybe 1 to 2%, that on YouTube, if you're growing organically, a lot of times you can actually have a very dedicated fan base and almost have every single subscriber be active. So you could have 5,000 subscribers. And I just looked at a channel. In fact, we'll be looking at him later. He is a political channel and he's not really even growing new subscribers, but his views are off the charts. It's like every single one of his viewers is like so that's all you need. So sometimes it depends on how clear the niche is, how deeply you connect with people. And so that may not be answering your question, perfectly. It's saying that it's kind of it's not a black or white answer. It's kind of a spectrum. But I would say that for sure, there's something to say that if you're at 50,000 subscribers, you're going 2% of that, 1% of that would be enough of a core fan base probably to take you anywhere. And even that, if it was all like cat videos and it's a faceless channel, which we haven't touched on as much, like that 50,000 subscribers might just kind of be very casual people who have not connected with your why, which is fine, but it's a different approach. It's kind of just a mass market, mass subscribership, lower level entertainment philosophy versus Jen DeVore on our team. She just sent us, not our team, Jen DeVore in Video Ranking Academy sent us an email. She just had her best month, had like a $12,000 month. She just hit 900 subscribers on her channel. That's connected to her business model. And so I would ask, how engaged are your subscribers? How can you improve the why you're sharing, the beliefs you're sharing, and the connection you're making? And another final metric would be, for many of our channels, we should be seriously considering building an email list. And building an email list is a way to move people off of your channel into a place where you can communicate with them outside of the algorithm. My friend JP Sears, who does comedy videos, in a way is very much, he's kind of a political activist, but he's very more humor based. He has his own merch shirts. His main kind of income stream is revenue from brand deals on his comedy videos. But he'll say at the end of every video, please join my newsletter because the algorithm is out of my control. So he's building a newsletter. I have not joined it. I watch his videos. Am I one of his 1,000 true fans? I'm not. Don't tell JP this. I don't want to buy his merch. So I'm a fan, but I'm not one of his 1,000. I'm not like diehard, buy his stuff. Now, I did go see him. He came to the city. So there's layers of how engaged people are with you. Here's the key is if you start building an email list, I think a telltale sign would be anybody that wants to go to another level with you, who's willing to sign up. So you may have 5,000 YouTube subscribers, but you get 1,000 people on your email list. Not that they will all necessarily be, again, your super fans, but it's a layer of deeper commitment. Of course, if they jump on buymeacoffee.com or patreon.com to support you with crowdfunding. And so it's definitely an accordion of opportunity. You might have 1,000 true fans with 1,000 subscribers. That's probably rare. And my probably favorite number would be about 10,000 subscribers. And we've seen that theme in Video Ranking Academy. Maybe more, depends on the niche, maybe less, but that's a really good target. That about maybe 10%, if you're building according to the principles we teach, really want to go to the next level with you, or interested in what's happening and really connected with you. And you can build a lot with that. And my friend, finally consider that you don't need 1,000 true fans. You just need, if you want $100,000 a year, you need 1,000 true fans at $100 each in a year's time. So how about 500 true fans at $100 each? That's $50,000. The math makes sense. It's kind of a metric to think. And then meanwhile, you could build this while you have a full-time job for the next 5 years. So you have 200 true fans, and $100 each, because whatever you build, or the merch you do, or the t-shirt drops you do every quarter, or the journal you create, or the affiliate partnership or network marketing company you build into it. So 200 of the people watching your channel about the network direct marketing, direct selling, essential oils stuff you're doing, all sign up with you while you got your other job. And so 200 true fans out of your 1,500 YouTube subscribers, right? Really connect with you today, and year after year, you keep building it up. So it's not like 0 to 1,000 true fans. It's actually 0 to 1. My ask to you is focus on making one person really happy, solving a specific problem for one person, making something that one person is so passionate about. Because once you dial that in, then 1 can turn into 10. And then there's 35 people on your email list. And then there's 133. It usually does not go from 0 to 1,000. It goes from 0 to 1. Great book from Peter Thiel is 0 to 1. It's like sometimes we're like, how do I get to $1 million? Let's make $1 first and then scale. So I hope that helps. And thanks so much for the question.
Awesome. If you have more questions that you want to ask, you can ask them here inside of the chat. If you are watching on the watch page, you can click through on the YouTube link, and that will give you the information. Here's what we're going to do now, family. We are going to be heading to a break. We're going to reset ourselves here at Think Media. We're going to reset this stream. And what you're going to want to do to be able to watch us on the afternoon session, which will happen we'll tell you how long, Sean, how long, what you're going to want.
So we'll start up at 1:45.
Okay.
Nope. We'll start up at 1:30, 1:30 Pacific Standard Time. That is in 34 minutes.
Okay. 34 minutes. We're going to start up. So what you're going to want to do is refresh this page. The new link for the new session will happen on this same page. You will just want to refresh that. And different questions were coming in about resources and some of our videos that can lead you to other places like email lists and things like that. At the end of this course, there will be a resources section. So we will make sure that that is built out for you for things like email list, or someone mentioned the Superfans book, and then some of the books like Start With Why that Sean had recommended in this last session. So we're going to take a break. But before we go, I wanted to let you know that we are in full force Grow with Video Live. This is our annual conference that we have here at Think Media. It's happening live in Las Vegas in May 2022. And I am so excited for you to come in person to our live event. So I'm going to play this little video, and then we're going to head out to break, and we'll see you guys in the next session.
Thought you knew. Yeah. Tell me where was you? We've been looking at the bottom, now we out here making moves. With the crew, we look like a zoo. Whole team, big gorillas, y'all been looking like baboons.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be on your feet. Welcome to the stage, Give it up for Gary Vaynerchuk!
I am tired of people not starting and living their life on one very simple thing, which is they're worried about what other people think. Regardless of what you're trying to accomplish, you've got to tell the world about it. This is now the world. If you're not betting on this, you're finished. If you're not betting on this, you're finished. If you're not betting on this, you're finished.